about 24 seconds or so.
Yeah, it's about. I'm seeing 19. Oh,
Oh,
look,
I
I have to
it's
change the screen manually. Look at that.
that's weird.
Hello. Yeah.
It's about 20
Shut up.
4 seconds or
All right. What's up, Steve?
why
Can
are
ever
we? Oh,
can everybody hear
wait.
us today?
I'm trying to get the chat to load on my side. So,
Oh, are you not seeing the chat? I
well,
see the
I see the
chat.
chat here. I'm trying to get the YouTube side up on over
Oh,
here.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Well, this will give you the YouTube stuff. What's up, y'all?
My
I
camera is like a second and a half behind on the monitoring screen. It's driving me crazy.
I don't
I
see it.
just
It
need to
looks.
not look at it.
Yeah, don't
Just
look at
need to look
yourself.
at other
That's the
things.
way to do it. Just don't look. Yeah, Morgan, it's post 420. It's sorry, I should have hyphenated it. I didn't. That's
Oh,
okay.
good. So LB says no audio, and Amanda says yes, I hear you.
Noise Bloom says voices are good. LB, I don't know why you can't hear us. Check your volume because apparently everyone else can hear us.
Ah, God is good. All right, man. We've been troubleshooting for the last half an hour or so. We haven't
Yeah.
actually talked about human things at all. How are you
Uh-uh.
doing?
No, dude, I'm good. April is my hell month. As I
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
people, it impacted a lot. I went 2 weeks without a podcast, which I don't like doing. I really don't like doing that. But when my schedule gets really, really, really super busy, it also means connecting with other people for podcast episodes can be a little
Right.
tricky. But I really enjoyed this week's episode with Scott because we just, instead of doing the interview thing, we just chatted and talked about stuff that's come out, and it was a lot of
Cool.
fun.
Cool.
What about you?
Um, my work's starting to pick up, which is good because we've been slow for a while. Um, otherwise, I don't know. I've been trying to play a little bit more.
Oh, nice.
Just around. So I did the whole lo-fi thing. I found my it's in the other room, but I have the Black Star Fly 3,
Oh,
and then
yeah.
the Black Star Fly 3 with a well, I mean, you could use a cable, but it's easier. Been using just the little wireless bug that I have, which I have to say, so I think it's the new X one. Damn it, I wish I knew which one it was. Let me see if I can find a picture of
All
it,
right.
because as soon as I see it, I think it's the new X1, but it's one of the older new X1s. Yeah, the B2. Um, it kind of seems like once the battery gets under like 50%, it starts getting real sketch. Like,
Oh,
not real
really?
sketch, but it's kind of like if you decide to like really dig in, it'll start overdriving,
Oh,
but not
okay.
in like a good way, in a digital like overdrive to no, like self-gating sort of way. It's unpleasant, and it makes me think, like, when it's done it before, it makes you think the amp is broken when it's actually your wireless is just starting to cut out randomly.
Okay.
So but it's cool. I've been using that, just putting on like stuff to jam along with on the TV, and just playing that. And it doesn't get, even if you turn that thing all the way up, it doesn't really get that loud.
I keep thinking about finding some kind of solution just to sit on the couch and play so that, I'm not like holed up in here whenever I'm playing
Right.
guitar.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, I'm also like, that's dumb. I have so much stuff. Why I don't buy more stuff. Like
Well,
I'm at a.
the
Uh-huh.
other nice thing with like the Fly 3 is, and I know it's old tech. There's probably better stuff now, but it's battery powered. Like, you can run it off wall, but I'm just running it off of like 6 double A's, I think.
Oh, I got you.
And I feel like when I've done them, used them in the past, like they last a while. So we'll see. I mean, I've been using it, 2 or 3 times a week. lately. Just to play all the same, the
Yeah,
uh same one pentatonic riff in every key sort of a deal.
I gotcha.
So,
I
I'll
I
hit
love
the
that
chat. Good
I love that you're
morning,
drinking out of your
everyone in the
Bees Music cup, though. I got my Bees
Yeah.
Music shirt on, representing.
I almost wore my Bees music shirt this morning.
Oh, it would have been way too matchy for me. I'd have to go
Yeah.
change.
I was gonna wear the 3/4 the baseball tee, but I think it's gonna be too. I didn't want to wear a shirt for this and then have to go change shirts after.
Yeah,
It
no, that
was
makes
just like,
sense.
oh, it's getting too. It was like 80 degrees yesterday, I think.
Yeah, it was cold here yesterday. I came back. I drove to Illinois yesterday and back.
Mm,
Um,
Jeez.
well, I stayed just south of Memphis, Tennessee. Last night or night before
Hmm.
last, so I didn't have to get up and drive as far, but I did have to drive home last
Oh,
night.
okay.
So
I thought you meant you like left in the morning, went to Illinois, picked something up, and then turned around.
I mean, that was the original plan, and that would have been what I did. But luckily, I was able to leave from Memphis instead of all the way from over here. But so let's, yep. I'm gonna click a couple of messages and see if I can make them. Look at that, like
Hey, it
magic.
works.
Hi, Amanda.
Yep.
Um, what up, Sassy? Um, I'll mark. Look at this one real quick. We'll cover this one more time. Vinny, it was a clickbait title that I messed up and didn't. I didn't hyphenate. It's supposed to be live post 420 Q&A. So after 420. So it's just badly worded. It's fine. It's clickbait. Sassy with the super chat. Let's get the BS started.
Yep.
Speaking of, for any of you that might be, because we broadcast this on on two channels actually, and on Facebook. Whoa, Steve, what did you do?
I just lost a light and I don't
Yeah,
know
your
why.
lighting just went like very moody. Um, my channel finally, thanks to some additions from the giveaway y'all did, Steve, I can get super chats on my channel now.
Yay!
Yeah, well, that was actually came before a little before that, but now it's it's a thing that can happen. I haven't gotten
Yeah,
any. That's
we're
fine.
still we're still blowing some different channels up, trying to figure out how exactly that whole thing works.
Yeah.
Um,
It's real dumb, and YouTube thinks it's not a YouTube just thinks it's spam. They don't think anybody's actually doing it, and so they're actually unsubscribing real subscribers.
yeah,
Um,
it's also a thing I've noticed where it seems like the videos that we did for those have kind of like started to drop in views
uh-huh.
overall, but
Like losing views or slowing down views.
um like well I mean I don't know if it's people are bored of them, maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is, but looking at the most recent one, I mean the most recent one actually is our best performing one for the first 1 day and 17 hours, but
Oh
it
yeah, I
kind of
gotcha.
seemed like maybe more people are watching the videos, but I think the King Sumo interaction has actually gone down.
Okay, I
And
gotcha.
I think Ryan may have talked about that in the most recent one, actually, where we had, let's see, the very first one had almost 10,000 contestants. The second one had about 3,500.
Yeah.
The one after that, so the third one had 1,700, but the newest one has 1,500. So it's pacing a little better on this third one, and that's contestants.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
not
yeah. That's
entry.
not views or entries or anything like that. That's
Yeah,
actual individual people.
because the entries always change. The entries are gonna
Yeah.
depend on uh how many hoops hoop jumps Ryan sets up.
Well, I am going to I signed up for King Sumo after watching the success y'all have had. So I'm gonna be asking some questions because I plan on launching a giveaway. Um coming up real soon for this. I'm going to do, let's see if I can get that to focus. Come on now.
I don't have autofocus on my camera, so it definitely
Oh,
would not focus.
you know what? I do have autofocus, but I think it is turned off because I was using, yeah, look at that. I'm in focus now. I turned it off because I was using this camera at a blues festival and was doing some manual focusing. So this is the, y'all have a few of these as well, and I think y'all are going to do some things with it eventually. But it is the B's Music Shop 1 Ton
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
It's a pretty killer fuzz. Distortion, gain box. I don't know. It does a lot of things.
We're going to give one away as well, and I'm really thinking about maybe giving it away as a podcast exclusive rather than giving it away through the main. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Really, and I need to look into what the King Sumo settings a bit too, because what I may end up doing, and what sucks is I don't think you can have a giveaway. Can you just do a giveaway for one day? Maybe you can.
Oh, I'm sure you can. I'll do it. I'll do it for 1 week though, and I'll do things like subscribe to B's channel, subscribe to my channel, you know, those kinds of things.
But what I'm thinking is, maybe you do a giveaway for in this live stream. Not today. Not today. Not today.
No, not today.
People,
no giveaways today.
But basically, it would be only for like put the link up during the live stream, take it down like 1 hour after the live stream ends. So only the people who were in the live stream actually have a shot at winning. The problem is then it loses the cross promotional.
Yeah,
it's
you
just
don't really
like
get it.
Becomes like a cool thing. But I've got buckets of actually I have a diaper box full of Affordaboard pedals, so maybe that's something to I don't know. I think I could do it. Sassy giveaways are rigged unless I win.
Giveaways.
That's how.
Good.
That's how people act, dude. It's. I mean, some of the responses that we get on these giveaways are just So we set up the links. We set up the links, and that's pretty much it. That's all we do.
Have you ever? Here's a question. Have you ever? And this is for viewers. Have you ever won a giveaway? Steve, have you ever won a giveaway?
I don't think so. There's probably something. Like I've won contests. But I've never won. I don't think I've ever won like a raffle. Like this.
Like you enter and your name gets chosen kind of thing.
I don't think I've ever won an internet raffle. At least not one of like. Yeah, I don't think I've ever won an internet raffle.
Huh. So I have won 2 giveaways that I know of. I won like forever ago, back when I was on the Seymour Duncan forum. They were doing a thing where you review a pedal, go to a shop, play it, review a pedal, and you get entered to win that pedal you reviewed. Mm-hmm. And I went and tried a bunch of the Seymour Duncan pedals and wrote a review for all of them, and I won the Paranormal Bass DI.
Oh, nice.
And so that was fun. And then very early into getting into it, like when I first started watching YouTube channels, I actually won a Keeley modded blues driver that y'all gave away.
Oh, I don't even remember.
Yeah, y'all did it through Patreon, and y'all only did it once because I'm pretty sure Patreon came back and said you can't give things away to just Patreon members.
Yeah, so there's I don't know how they're doing it. I've seen a few other guitar channels that do giveaways in Patreon. There's ways to do it where you say like for example, if we wanted to do a giveaway in Patreon, all I would really need to do is like, hey guys, we're trying to think of some new content. Post the content that you think we should do down below, and that's your entry into it. So it's like there has to be a work involved.
Right. Yes.
It
And
can't.
that's why that pedal show does like they're really ridiculous trivia questions like to enter theirs. So
Yeah. What's 1 + 1 is 2. But then,
or
I
they did
don't.
one
I
that it was like what company makes the Captor X? Two rivers, two
hmm,
boats,
two
two
boats.
two like weird like I don't remember what they put like a bunch of weird things and it was obvious, there's one obvious answer. There's no trickery involved. This is an interesting one. LB asked, does anyone even actually win those mega Sweetwater giveaways? That's a good question. I enter those every single time.
I assume so. I mean, Sweetwater's always been on the up and up with us,
Yeah,
so
that's how I feel about it. Someone must win them. I wish somebody would post a video, be like, I won the mega Sweetwater giveaway. Da 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 da. Let's see. Anything else?
now I'm Googling I won the Sweetwater giveaway just to see. I mean, they do have a list of previous winners on their website.
Oh, nice.
Uh of like for but no, I guess I don't know if any of these are for the big giveaways. They're all like the Facebook and Instagram single. Oh, there's somebody, Scott S in Spring Harbor, Michigan, won March's $8,000 PA system giveaway. That's a one of
Yeah,
the big ones, right?
that is one of the big ones.
Hunter B in Aldie, Virginia, won the Gear Exchange Universal Audio Volt 2 and SD1 standard dynamic microphone and a Beyer Dynamic DT770 headphone set. And Bob S won the $4,000 content studio giveaway.
Oh, okay. Well, somebody's
So,
winning them then. I mean,
so
I'm
yeah.
here for that.
But yeah, so I think the thing is, I should say, like, the raffle that I always think of is uh that the raffle that I always think of winning is one that I bought a bunch of tickets to. Like, I feel like I bought enough tickets to get into it to guarantee a win. But I've tried that with other raffles when it's kind, I don't want to say it's dirty, right? Like, you have to know your audience when you do this. So the one that I won was at Cowerfest, Doug Cower's
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
semi-annual, and by semi-annual I mean sometimes annual shop open house at his shop. Um but So I won my satellite Gamatron there. I bought $200 in tickets. I won that, and I won something else. I forgot what the other thing was. A pedal,
So
I think.
forgive me. Was it worth it? Did the value shake out?
Oh yeah, it's like yeah. Oh, was that sarcasm?
No, I was just checking.
Are you
No,
familiar? Are you
no.
familiar with satellite amps?
Yes, I just didn't know
Okay,
that particular item.
that's like a now I think it's an $800 head,
Oh, geez.
but
Okay.
at the time it was like a $650
Like
head.
you said what you said the name of it, and I genuinely didn't know if it was a pedal, an amp, a
Oh
guitar.
yeah,
I
no,
didn't know.
that's their it was their 2.8 watt head. It's actually what I was using in my office and before I got the Rev.
Gotcha.
Um,
So Mark
before
says
I
he
was
won
given the
at
Rev.
AMS. Um, let's see. Somebody else said they won. Um, oh, Andrew Collins won a guitar package from Sweetwater.
Yeah, there you
Look at
go.
that. Also, I love this one because so sipping fjord I can't say it fjordies. I don't think that counts. I also got one of those. Basically, Steve sent them until they ran out.
No, you know what? I think it definitely counts. We did give away like 200 and I don't know,
So freaking many.
260, 270, something like that. But we must have had like 10,000 entries into that. It was insane
Are
cuz
you
Ryan,
serious?
yeah, cuz Ryan did a live stream with Lauren uh a few like because I we did that giveaway I think in September or October, and then Ryan did a live stream like for Christmas, around Christmas time, where is all he did was him and Lauren opened letters
Oh, I remember
and
that. No, I
read
do
the
remember that.
letters. Yeah, there were so many. The King Sumo ones I've given away everyone, and actually the last two have been great because Ryan will, he'll make the video on. He'll make the next video, I think, on Thursday. I forget what day of the week it ends, but whatever. The
Yeah.
last two, uh, the all three winners have gotten back to me within 24 hours.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when people respond quickly, it keeps me on my it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me in check because it's really easy to let shipping slip. People have pulled out different ideas, and this is like a little look behind the curtain. Ryan and I have had some conversations about this, and one of the reasons that it's throttled, one is because content. Um, we could like we could give away all of the pedals at once.
Yeah, yeah, you
You know
could.
how much it sucks to hand pack 100 pedals? Oh, trust me, I know. I did it for the Azor reverbs.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah, I've
remember.
already done it. It sucks. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So one, it sucks. Two, we actually talked about doing doing more pedals, which is a thing people. Oh, so the other reason is like, yeah, then Ryan's gonna demo like how many products can you demo in one video? Like 9 videos, or not, sorry, 9 pedals. And the way he's doing it, it's like three drives, 3 distortions, 3 mods. That is
Yeah.
basically what it is. And so when I've been shipping these out, I've actually been trying to respond, not respond. I've been trying to actually package these where everybody's getting something that I would say, like, sometimes the drive is a boost or it's a compressor. It depends
Oh,
on
yeah.
what's in there, right? But I've been trying to send like one thing out of what I would call like an early chain pedal, which is a drive or a boost
Yeah, yeah,
or a
yeah.
compressor, and then something from like what I would call mid chain, which is just like a distortion or a fuzz. It's tough because fuzz is actually you normally would put that first, but in terms of gain staging, I'm calling it mid for this purposes, and then um, I'm trying to put one mod pedal. So because there's usually 3 of each. Some people are getting 2 mods just because sometimes there was one pack, I think, where Ryan did a delay, a reverb, a chorus, and a phaser. So that's just kind of the nature of it. But yeah, I've been trying to like not give somebody, oh, here's 3 rats. Uh Congratulations, you won 3 rat clones, because that sucks.
Here's 3 gated fuzzes. Like
Yeah.
all like
But the other reason for it is because Ryan actually floated the idea to me, which would be fun, would be to do 9 winners a week and everybody just gets 1 pedal. And the issues are, one, that is would triple our shipping costs,
yeah.
um, which would be kind of annoying.
And not I'll be honest, not worth it. That you start to get in the realm of just financially not
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah, because I'm trying to quick ship everything, so at least all the domestic shipping I'm using flat rate, so it's like $8.50 to ship 3 pedals, and at that point it's worth it. It's like $28 a week, something like that.
Yeah. Whereas if you do
Um,
all 3 separately, you're looking at a minimum of like $15 to $18 for 3 pedals.
um, yeah, yeah. Well, are you saying like if I was to
Like if you
do
were to ship one pedal to 3 people, if you gave them away one at a time instead of 3 at a time,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
shipping goes up real quick. Because I think the
Well,
minimum for anything of that size that's not just a flat envelope, you're looking at like $5-6.
yeah, and if we were to do, because we floated the idea of giving away, still doing 9 pedals a video, but having 9 winners. And actually, where that broke down for me is one, in my personal life, in my work life, I'm one of like, I'm I'm not like I'm not a calendar person.
Yeah.
I'm just not a calendar person. A lot of people aren't, right? And so the thing that I told Ryan, which to me was like was the important thing, is that with 3 winners, if I get sick or let's be honest, if I just don't get to it, I
Right.
don't get sick, I get even. Um, but if I just don't get to it for whatever reason, family stuff, lazy, well, I stayed up playing Counter-Strike and instead of working on guitar stuff, podcast stuff, then I can make it up the next week, right?
Right.
Because now it's gone from, okay, I need to ship 3 packages to I need to ship 6 packages.
Right.
If we are giving away 9 a week, then it goes from I need to ship 9 packages to I need to ship 18 packages. And that's like
And then that's on top
that's a
of
lot
dealing with
more
Adventurers
work.
Club if people choose the affordable pedals and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. Which a lot of people have. A lot of people have been taking that. And I'm a little annoyed because not at the people who are taking it, I'm annoyed at the box that I have because there's a lot of compressors in there.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And I don't want to ship people compressors because I don't, but I'm going to start having to ship people compressors.
Okay, well, I won last week. I want the affordable pedals. I don't want the compressor.
I haven't emailed you, right?
No, you haven't.
Oh shit. I thought I was behind.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm not exactly hurting for pedals, so, um, but I also just think that's more fun. I'll get something, make a couple of videos, and maybe turn around and give them away again. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. Let me I'll have to remind myself or you'll have to remind me afterwards that I owe you.
It's
Normally I send the email out
like
like
right after the
I
episode airs.
yeah, and I don't remember what happened last week. I think
It's
I was
fine.
just in a scramble and forgot to do it.
You were just upset that the acoustic Gibson Les Paul Jumbo wasn't your pick.
I actually I forget what what all was that week. I think I intentionally picked against you.
That's fine. The wheel
Which
knew. The wheel knew.
I'm not supposed to admit, but
I know. No, it's
whatever.
fine. And I don't mind you picking against me. I submit the ads because I think that stuff's ridiculous. So I also like the way y'all do it, where you try not to look at the emails, but Ryan definitely just picks based on the pictures and the weirdness that he sees.
Oh yeah.
So
If we can, just want to go back to the chat real quick. Hey,
yeah,
Snarky, welcome.
yeah. Hi, Snarky.
I'm sure Janie appreciates that you stopped playing guitar to join this chat because I'm sure she was tired of listening to you practice. Um, and I do. If you can bring up, I think
Yeah,
what
who are we
any
looking
of
at?
these comments from Blur
Oh,
about
sure.
the way King Sumo works. So there's been a couple things that have come up. One is in kind of in concert with these giveaways, we've started to get just pounded with with what's it called? With like Telegram spam on YouTube again.
Uh,
So um so that's one issue that we've had. So it is so King Sumo will email when you enter to confirm. So I think you have to, like, you do your entry or you sign up
right.
each week or each contest, and then you have to confirm that you're signing up. And then after you confirm that, they after you confirm that, then you can do all of your additional like bonus entries and stuff, right? Excuse me. But the actual winning will be contacted by us. I've been trying to send an email out within 24-ish hours, and this is all manual, so it's hopefully I stay on top of it for
Yeah.
another 10-ish weeks or 10-ish contests. I shouldn't
Is
say
that
10 weeks.
will that get y'all through all of the affordable pedals?
There's something like 100, so yeah, I think originally we estimated there would be 11 giveaways,
Okay. I am
and we've completed 3, I think.
I've got to get some stuff out of my house. Some I need to give away, some I just need to sell. And so I'm starting to look around. It's like, what can I do that's fun? Because y'all are really kind of inspiring me as a fun way to get some stuff out of here and move some stuff. And
Yeah,
so,
just give away Gibson,
oh yeah,
give away a Novo.
yeah. Look, the return on that better be real good. I don't know what the return would be, but it better be really, really good.
Yeah. So, um, So yeah, so the winners are contacted by me, and in fact, I even had somebody reach out and say like, "Hey, I was contacted," and that's 60 cycle humcast at gmail.com. I had somebody reach out and say that they were contacted and they weren't sure if it was real or not. But that's the
Oh,
only one. We don't Ryan and I don't I actually try to funnel any official communication. So I say like if a business reaches out to us and says, "Hey, we want to do a pedal demo," and they reach out through Instagram or through Facebook Messenger or whatever, I usually um, try to bounce that to like say like, "Hey, can you just email us so it's all in one place?" And also so like Ryan and I both have visibility into it. Um, I will say I have seen um so yeah, so blur let's see, okay, because within that question, the way they display it, it almost matches the three letters.
that shows
So
up
there
in
is some
spam.
things that we have been hearing about people going to spam. It's just about the way you're configured. I've actually been entering with a burner email. Don't worry, if it ends up winning, I will redraw it. But I've been entering with a burner email because people have been saying that they've had like a big uptick in spam.
Oh,
Um,
that's not good.
but I will say I did receive a spam text that was really weird and was definitely related to the contest, but I haven't been getting like pounded with it. So I don't know if that's because I'm using a Gmail and maybe Gmail's just better at detecting spam. I don't know. But certainly like the initial email from King Sumo you have to respond to, and so it may be something where you need to monitor your junk email. I've been trying to figure out how to do titles from us that like make sense, and to the to at least at this point, I know Ryan always says we don't have any plans to use any of the emails. In the future, that might change.
Right.
We've talked about like whether or not we want to use Mailchimp just to do like weekly recaps. Like, hey, here's all the videos that came out this week. I don't know if the cost is there. I don't know if it's worth it, but like for some people it might be worth it, and for other people, like those Mailchimp things are pretty easy to unsubscribe from.
Yeah, I get a
So
lot of I'm getting a lot of mixed feedback on whether or not email lists are still worth the effort, to be really
yeah,
honest. That so I'm not really sure whether it is or not. I do say if you enter contests regularly, you need to be checking your spam folders and
yeah.
actually looking at the emails
I
because
I would even say if you want to enter contests regularly, like make yourself a burner. It's easy. I've had my burner for years.
yeah,
I started that account specifically so people who like I did it for buying and selling on Craigslist.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Because I didn't
I need
want,
a burner.
people necessarily to be emailing me on my personal email, so they can email me on my other email.
Well, didn't doesn't Craigslist like encrypt them and run it through Craigslist? And yes,
Yeah,
Snarky, I'm reading them. I'm highlighting some comments I think are funny that we don't necessarily need to interrupt the chat for. But on this one, Myrna, yes, I can't keep everything. Look, I'm not rich. I am firmly middle class. I'm just irresponsible. Um, I buy too much shit. This is what happens when you have dual income with no kids and an obsession. And so that's just the way it is. I put more stuff on. I also have a couple of side hustles, and so I spend
mhm,
an awful lot of my side hustle money paying off credit cards that I buy things on. I'm not a big fan
yeah,
of going into debt for gear. I do what I call planned debt, where I'm like, I know that in the next 2 months I have this income, and it's
right.
now earmarked for this.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so I know, like for example, I've got a couple of consulting gigs coming up in the next couple of months. So I know that that money is going to go directly to pay for a guitar. The reason I went to Illinois yesterday to pick up a guitar, um, it's going to cover that.
yeah,
Also, yes, my wife is very, very understanding.
yeah. Joe says email lists. I don't know if is still a way to reach folks. I think it works for brands.
Yeah.
I think it 100% works for brands. I think for and I just say that, like and it depends on the brand. When Fender does it, like I'm on the Fender text list. I don't remember the last time I actually opened that. I think I usually just mark it as read. Um, but like there are companies, and they sponsor my show, like Chase Bliss, who they do giveaways, or not giveaways, they do like B stock sales, and their B
Yeah.
stock sales are a really good way to get in there, because sometimes those B stock sales, you take a $400 pedal, you knock 30% off of it, and now it's whatever that number is,
Yeah.
less than $400 pedal. So that's a really good way to get into those.
And they're not alone.
um
I mean, I just this weekend, y'all, if you're looking for love pedals, Sean over at Love Pedal is doing one of his weekend sales where he marks a bunch of pedals down and builds a bunch of stock. But he sends an email out and says, "Hey, this weekend, here's the price for all of these." And if you're not on that list, you're not going to get those emails. I'm really bad at falling for those. I did not this week. I'm feeling real good about myself, not giving into that one. But
yeah, I don't know if email lists are really effective for creators who aren't doing very specific things. I don't think it's the way that we've talked about doing it as a YouTube recap. I don't know if it's super effective, but maybe there's there's only one way to really find out, and I guess that would be to
to do
try it,
it,
but
yeah,
we haven't. And maybe if it's not costing a ton and you get a big enough list and it gives you a 5 or 10% boost to whatever you're promoting,
right.
and you're big again, and you're big enough, like that's that's like, so Patreon has this thing. I haven't figured it out yet.
So,
Loyalty
so Steve, have you
yes.
and Ryan split up?
I've seen Ryan on another show. What other show?
I think it's the stuff he filmed in Florida. I think it's the stuff he went to Florida for.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I think he's
Ryan.
joking. At least I hope he's joking.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I guess that maybe that's what it is. Yeah, Ryan went to Florida to. We talk about that on Monday's episode. Just wait till Monday's episode. I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, I
We're not
mean,
gonna.
those videos are out, I'm pretty sure already. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, I know. With the stuff with No Fear, No Fear Guitar Gear is doing something really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're based out of some like the Tampa area.
Okay.
Um, but the thing that they're doing is like really cool. They're kind of content farming. Um, again, Ryan talked about it. It's basically the guy who's running it is doing a uh why is my brain breaking? He's actually a long time. I'll just say he's a long time industry guy. He's been in the business for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and he he owns a guitar company, or used to own, I don't remember. Ryan, I think, again, Ryan tells some of the story, at least. A brand that most of us, I think, would be familiar with. But again, I don't know how much of that's supposed to be out in the public, but I'll just say, like, what they're doing is kind of like um a sort of YouTube marketing proof of concept.
Okay.
No Fear Guitar Gear is actually is in at least at this point, it's kind of a proof of concept. But they're bringing in, I mean, Ryan is one of the uh they're bringing in, I'll just one thing I'll say is, and I think it's obvious if you pay attention to what they have, is they're definitely like bringing in people who are really good on the fly, like personality types. Now, I don't. They had Dre Demura, who I'm not super familiar with, but apparently, like, he's like a professional guitarist, and Jimmy Franklin, both of those guys are kind of smaller, but like up and coming YouTubers, but they're very dynamic on camera.
Okay.
And then the most recent round was Jay Leonard Jake is a jack of all trades, master of all trades. Like, he's amazing. The thing that he might not be the best at is like, I heard he's good at golf too. So I don't know what Jay is bad at. And then we all know what Ryan can do on camera. They've had Sean Daniel on there. Sean Pierce Johnson was on there. Like, they
Okay.
find good personalities, and they've been bringing them out. Um, and they've just been like, their products that I don't even know how they're deciding what products to feature. Their most popular recent, I'm trying to figure out what their most popular recent thing is. Was, oh, here, it's the Fishman Loud Box. Like, is that a thing people care about?
I don't know. Um, yeah, I'm looking at. Let's see. They did a B-Bender Telecaster video testing cheapest Strat on Amazon. I'm just looking back at it. It's interesting. So what they're doing basically is they're bringing in YouTube personalities instead of having someone in house do this stuff. Is what it
Yeah,
feels like.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But again, like, this is like I said, this is like a proof of concept idea. They're running like a full studio
It's
kind of
so
setup.
I find it really funny. So if you go back far
Excuse me.
enough, um, they
Yeah, I just
did
did that.
yeah they did a video on distortion pedals 12 years ago, and then their next video was 7 months ago.
Right. Right. So it's a relaunching of an, and I don't think I back then, like, those videos are under Gear Gurus.
Uh
I
huh.
don't know what Gear Gurus is.
Yeah.
So this is a channel rebrand at some point. Um,
And it feels really hit or miss, like what's doing well for them. And I feel like we're turning into a YouTube like diagnosis. But like some things they put out and it does like massive views. Like they did a PV Classic 20 video 2 months ago. That's 20,000 views. They
yeah.
did a video of how to get a pick out of an acoustic guitar that's obviously a joke with a bunch of YouTubers trying to get a pick out of it.
Right.
It has
Right.
304 views. Like
But
that's
that,
my view level.
but that's that's especially for a channel like this. It's really interesting. They have 4,000 subs now.
Yeah.
They've actually, I think they've been growing quickly. I'm trying to catch up on some of the chat. I don't know what it's. Amanda says they probably had a budget crunch. I'm not
Yeah.
sure what this is responding to.
To the gap. She's talking about the year gap that they had.
Oh, well, it's a whole different. I think it'll make more sense tomorrow. And like I said, I don't want to get too much into the background details. This project, No Fear Guitar Gear, is a very new project. I think it's less than a. I don't want to say it's less than a year old. Like, maybe there was things ruminating for a long time.
Yeah.
I would just say that, like, it's probably the same people behind Guitar Gurus and No Fear Guitar Gear, but it's not really functional to think of them as related. I don't
Yeah.
think. Um,
So I pulled them up so we could sort of look and
yeah,
see. We'll see if I
and
can swap back from there. But
you can see the cutoff. Like, when you go down, it's like 5 rows down. Um, but Joe says it depends on the person's follower base, I guess. And I think that's really the thing that's interesting to look at these videos is you have these videos, this channel's 4K or about 4.4 thousand subscribers. Not small, but not
right.
huge, right? And what you're really seeing is how the algorithm handles, or like, I don't even know if it's algorithm or how much of it's just behavior, where Ryan and Jay do this video 3 days ago for the cheapest Fender Strat on Amazon, 14,000 views.
Right.
But then, you go back a little further. Oh, I think here's like a really good example. You go back, Sean Pierce Johnson and Leonard J do Ultimate Under 100 Overdrive Pedal Shootout. 8 pedals compared, 2,100 views. Again, 2,100 views is excellent for a channel of this size.
Oh yeah. Big time.
But then you go back one more where it's Jimmy Franklin, Tom Bootwin. I'm not familiar with Tom too much. Dre DeMura, And these are all 3 guys who on YouTube at least are like under 30K, so not huge, not
Yeah,
small, but not huge. But their Joyo Ultimate Drive video has 19,000 views. I didn't know people still cared about the Joyo Ultimate Drive. That pedal's
me
like
either.
1,000 years old. Also full tone's back, so I guess, I mean, I don't know if that makes it better or worse. But I, the point, and like you said, the PV Classic 20, that's actually a new amp, right? So
Yep.
there's some
Well,
like
we're gonna
there's
we're
some
gonna
heat
put
on
new
that.
in air quotes. That
Right.
amp's
It's
been
a
around for
reboot.
yeah.
I thought that fastest wave video would have done a lot better, but maybe that needed to be a short. Like
Yeah, I think if it were a
it's
short, it would have done a lot better.
it's a 55-second long form.
No, see, do that as a
Um,
short. Do that as a short.
so maybe that's where that gets killed.
Well,
I don't know.
YouTube's not going to push that because you can't get an ad in a 55-second video.
Right. No,
Um,
that's what I mean.
so I'm gonna back up real quick, cover a couple of things
Sure.
real fast. Uh, Amanda says, I don't think it's bright to enable your subs to not give you views. She's talking about the email list and sending out emails as a recap.
Oh, right.
There's another side to that though, Amanda, where some viewers just subscribe to things and don't ever go watch them until they get the email and they're like, oh, there's a video on this thing that I should have checked out, but I didn't go to YouTube to see the new videos that this channel I follow is putting out.
Yeah.
Or to be honest, some people subscribe to so many channels they don't see when new videos get put out by the channels they care about. I have to hunt down videos all the time because I subscribe to a lot of stuff.
That
Um,
that's definitely a part of it. And I think the way that you have to frame it in a way that makes your email also clickbaity, which is like,
yeah.
hey, if you missed this giveaway video, click on the video to get to the description to click the link to, so you have like a multi-chain there. And so people won't necessarily like click on the video to watch the video. You have to give them a reason to click on the video besides the
Yes.
existence of the video.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah, no, I do think like that is a thing now where it depends on. There's probably people who will say, well, I don't need to watch every video now because I'm going to get this recap. Um,
It's a fair assessment.
but on the others,
I don't watch all of Ryan's videos.
oh, neither do I.
We'll cover this one real fast. Uh, PGLBH. That is not the Epiphone Firebird. That is a Gibson Firebird that I did eventually get. Although I still stand by the Epiphone Firebird being outstanding. And I think if you're into a Firebird and you don't want to spend a lot of money, go get the Epiphone Firebird. It's like $650, $649 now, something like that.
Yeah. Joe says, and this most recent comment on here, um, the hardest thing, the clickbait in the face is, I think there's 100%. I think you have to do what's comfortable, because I personally, I think people can tell when something is uncomfortable, and I think it tunes a lot of people out. Um, I think that's also kind of the hard thing with the 60 cycle hum channel, is that Ryan is, as a human being, is kind of like walking clickbait. Like
Yes, he is.
he doesn't really look like the kind of person that should exist in real life. Um,
He's a Muppet. He's a live Muppet.
but and Amanda says, clickbait faces are cringe. I honestly avoid some channels just because of how agitated they make me. And so I think those are the kind of things that people do get really turned off by. I talked about this on the podcast 2-3 weeks ago. I follow a YouTuber. I follow a YouTube channel in like a different segment of the YouTube world
Hmm.
that's getting, it just hit 1 million views, and the thumbnails are getting more and more clickbaity, and they're like cringe because it's an interview show, and so it's like a lot of like facial manipulation, like things that are like definitely come off as veiled racism, veiled ableism.
Oh,
And
ugh.
so there's a, but now it's turned into like a drama bait thing, and you know, and the core, the fundamental, like the fundamentals of the show are like, can be fun and educational, but they tend to be like, they seem like the show now, it's like people are watching the show because they're, some people are hate watching it, some people are the same, are the kind of cringy people who want that kind of thing. um but yeah, it's, you know, there's definitely ways to do over the top, and there is a conversation I think to be had, and I've seen it with this, where it's like, you know, a lot of this channel's like titles are like, this is, this the dumbest person ever, or like, worst mistakes ever kind of stuff, and it's like, it's the same conversations that we have in the guitar
Yeah.
community around clickbait titles, where
Last overdrive ever.
yeah, no, exactly. How many last overdrives can
That's
there be? How many
that's an octave
best,
fuzz, but whatever.
how many best overdrives they can be? And now we kind of like lean into that with the podcast. Like our last podcast titles was why you need at least 7 Stratocasters.
Well, I mean, y'all did it also with the whole does such and such deserve such and such.
Yeah. What
Y'all
are
did a whole
acoustic,
series of those.
what are acoustic guitarists scared of?
Yeah.
Um, what are
What?
the what are the top 10 Rick Beato videos? But
But
but we do try to deliver in the, we did organize Rick's videos and look at what the his 10 highest uh 10 highest performing videos are. And so you can't, there's clickbait that is genuine there, you know, there's different levels of clickbait judgment. There's the title that doesn't deliver. That's
yeah.
where, if your title is just outright lying, like
Yeah.
that's problematic. There's the title that kind of like is the M. Night Shyamalan of titles, where I'm so tired of this.
Oh, yeah. Well, you
And then it's like, what you're actually so tired of is like how the person who makes your sandwich at Subway is like really nice to you, and it just seems fake. That's what you actually end up talking about being tired of. But you know, because it's uh the video, and you know, yeah, so this is a genuinely clickbait video because nobody really knows what the 420 reference is actually supposed to be.
right, exactly.
And
That's
then there's a clickbait that actually is just like, it's just so over the top, like, did they lie? Are Fesley guitars really the best guitars on Amazon? And then Ryan's parenthetical, best is subjective, but and I know like they have this, Fesley has this reputation, and it's like, okay, you know, let's have that discussion. Did they lie? Or like, they want me to stop giving away affordable pedals. Who is they? They is the 1%,
right.
uh, or 0.5% of commenters that are
And
just being
honestly, I would have
aggro.
used that exact same title if one person told me to stop. I would have
Yeah,
done that
yeah.
same video. But yeah, this one, the I'm leaving videos. I am so over the I'm leaving videos.
Well, and it kills me, like, and again, like, I'm biased. I thought Ryan's, what was it? I'm leaving to find myself. I thought that was hilarious. And
Yeah.
it's like,
No, that one was great.
but people were so mad.
Were they really?
I thought this, like, people thought it was a real quit video, and the fact that it wasn't, like, and I kind of, again, like, I kind of feel like, I feel like it's interesting because making fun of stuff is so much in the vibe of the show.
Right. No, see, that's the thing. Okay, that video, while yes, clickbaity, it is 100% on brand. But
Yeah.
like if so I'm not gonna call out other channels. There are other channels though that suddenly do an I'm quitting video, and it's I'm quitting, I'm gonna quit these bad habits while playing guitar, not quitting YouTube. But it was so
Mhm.
off brand for their channel to do that kind of humor and parody. It's satire at that point. So yeah, exactly. Joe says it right here, excluding Ryan because he's walking satire. He's walking clickbait. Other people are doing it because it works. And don't get me wrong, when I put out my podcast, I find the most like the most inflammatory thing someone said now and try to turn it into like when I had Terrence
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from Now Wired on, and he said, because I hated Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm like, well, there's the title, done. I don't need. I wrote it down. I was like, that's the title of this episode because
Yeah.
that's gonna
Oh yeah.
make people mad.
So I just going back, like when we did the most recent batch of 50/50s, the title on that one is just the 50/50 is back. What is it? What's new? How does it it's such a long title. How does it sound? If we if we planned on if staying like super on top of the build, which they're still kind of in a small batch state. Um
Right?
but the title for that easily could have just been this is the ultimate DoD 250 whatever,
Yeah.
something like that. And it's like we actually don't tend to do the low hanging fruit level titles that aren't completely tongue in cheek.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just realized that when Ryan did a cluster of super cool pedals, which are all like cigarette and like old timey cigarette and alcohol themed,
Oh yeah.
the title is "Oh no, I'm addicted to super cool pedals."
Yes. I did not watch that one, but I saw it.
But yeah, I don't the whole YouTube whatever. People are gonna like what they like. People are gonna hate what they hate. I think some people just take it, way too seriously.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Emily had over on the Get Offset channel, she's had this guy from like 6 months ago or
Oh,
something
that guy.
who made some insane comment about how women who play guitar are really just like trying to pretend to be men. That's a close enough
Yeah, yeah. It
thing,
basically
right?
said they're LARPing to get men, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Um, and then he kind of goes on to say, like, well, it's well documented that women have been moving into more traditionally male spaces. And it's like, in a sense, like when your society has been dominated primarily by men for, I don't know, the last, 9 of the last 9,100 years,
Hmm.
9,000 of the last 9,100 years is what I meant to say. Um, Almost all of your spaces are males dominated
Yeah,
spaces. But
100%.
regardless, like this guy just keeps going and going, and he's like coming back, and it's like, dude, like just hang up the phone. Like, why are you here? It's okay. It's like, I mean, it's his opinion's garbage.
Yeah,
Um, but no one cares. Like, why do you? It's weird. It's just weird behavior. Um, yeah, sassy. There is something to be said. There are people that think that YouTube has uh just emails every creator over a certain size and tells them to make the same video, which isn't the case, but there is definitely something to be said for there's like very obvious algorithm trends,
yep,
and sometimes they're obvious. Uh, Sometimes they're the thing that um, like sometimes it's an obvious response. The quitting thing actually really threw me off because the way that it was done felt weird, and I don't know how much of that is like real response versus internet response, right? Because what I mean by that is, I forget who the two original creators were that made quitting videos around back in January. But it was Matt Pat was one of them from
Uh-huh.
the Game Theory, Film Theory. The other one, I don't remember the guys, but it was an old school like YouTuber who I guess had been posting like a video a week for 10 years, kind of a thing, right? Um, I want to reserve that topic for later. I
Yeah.
want to talk about this Tom DeLonge thing.
Look
Uh,
at wow, like you like pivoted fast. You're like, no, I want to talk about this.
um, but we'll come back to that. We should talk about gear at some point, especially since
Yes.
we are
Yeah, we're
an
across the
hour
hour
and a
mark
half
now.
in, and we've mostly been talking about YouTube trends.
Well,
But it
for
was
live
so.
streaming purposes, we're an hour and 5 minutes in.
Oh, right, right. Oh, yeah, I forgot we didn't start exactly at 9.
Right.
So there's a whole thing. Uh, Michael, I'll get to that too. um, but there's a whole thing where it's like these two creators made these quitting videos. They're not even quitting. They're just taking a step back from being like the face or whatever. Graham Stephan also did a video like this pretty recently where he says he's going to like slow down because he feels like he's in the crunch of trying to make so much content that he's not putting out quality videos. Something I didn't watch his video. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But then there's all these people who want to talk about why people are quitting, and in some cases, like I think, like, I don't know how many of those are people are getting phone calls saying, hey man, like you're a big time YouTuber. Why are there other big time YouTubers like taking a step back and like doing this thing this way? I don't know the answer to that, right? Like maybe they're being pushed by their fan bases. I'll just say names. I watched both of their videos. I think they're fine. I think the videos themselves were fine, but I know they are a part of the hype machine. Well, the first big one was Marcus Brownlee. Marcus Brownlee made a video to talk about why people are quitting, and then in the gear space, the two big ones were Rhett Scholl made a why people are quitting video, and Rick Beato made one.
Right.
And I think what Joe is saying kind of feels like what it is, which is talking about people quitting. Wait, no, yeah, talking about people quitting. Is it a coattail? Is it coattail ready? And it kind of feels like it.
Yeah,
And
it
so I
does.
don't know. And everyone has different perspectives too. It's like you have to find ways to stay interested in what you're doing. You have to find ways to remain creative, to keep doing. Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Patrick. You have to find ways to keep making content that you as a creator find interesting. Did Mary do a quitting video too?
She
I
did.
I, I
She
don't
did.
remember. I don't remember who all did it.
She also did. But so on Mary Spender,
Yeah,
I feel like she's very not guitar anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, she plays guitar. She's a great guitar player. But I feel like she's way more of like a lifestyle channel now than she is a guitar channel.
right.
And Kyle B, yes, I did not know who Guitar Max was. I still barely know who he is. I know there's a channel. I know what he looks like.
So I think there's different aspects to it, and I think there was a hot moment, and if you're paying attention, especially to other segments, and that's a thing too to think about is sometimes you see these things pop up because like Marcus Brownlee did the video. Not everyone necessarily knows who Marcus Brownlee is, but Marcus Brownlee is like he's a big tech reviewer. He did the big
Right.
Marcus Brownlee drama this week. I say drama, it's like whatever. There's a product that came out called what's the product called?
Uh,
It's this. Do you know? Oh, you're
Amanda,
the
that's Guitar Max.
yeah. He made a video. It has 6.5 million views. Marcus Brownlee called, and the product is called the Humane AI Pin. He calls it, the title on this is the worst product I've ever reviewed for now.
Right.
6.5 million views. He wears this. It's this thing. It's almost like a comm badge from Star Trek, but it's huge. What are you doing?
That was not what it was supposed to go back to. I'm sorry, I was trying to go back to our cameras. Keep talking, I'll get us back.
So he does this thing, and all of these people are coming out and saying like Marcus Brownlee killed this company because he's that big. Like he's
Right.
that big, like again 6.5 million. But then the company actually posted and said like, no, we really appreciate Marcus's feedback. to like take the time to put our product out there. It's still in early phase. This is the kind of feedback we need. It's also, I think it was like $700 for this. And the thing that he says is it's like clunky and it doesn't actually work, and the battery life um was not long enough and all this stuff, right?
Right.
So then all these people are accusing him of killing the company. Then he then made a video called "Do Bad Reviews Kill Companies," which is,
Yeah.
the thing.
Sorry. Give me
But
give me a,
but
I'm gonna
but
fight
yeah,
this.
it's a whole thing where he did it. He's big in tech. I definitely know, like, if you are an Apple person, like, there's a lot of people, like Marcus Brownlee is big in the Apple space because he's always going to review the new Apple phone. He's always going to review the new Apple Watch, all that kind of stuff. And he's really big for that. So I'm not surprised that we saw more of these quitting videos. The my trying to bring back to the original point is that if you go to YouTube, and there is a research function
Yeah.
in the YouTube app. I've looked at it. It's weird. I don't really understand its purpose because sometimes the things that it suggests to you are really dumb.
Yeah. So
Um,
I'm gonna find that. You keep going. Um,
but yeah, so there is kind of like trends. I don't know. Do we want to talk about who Guitar Max is, or
no,
is that
no, that was just showing. We don't need to say.
okay?
So
Yeah,
I'm going to share this. I pulled up my analytics side showing my research tab, right? So this is what it shows me, and it's based on my videos and performances.
hmm
It's the top searches. That is always the most interesting thing to me. These are supposedly the top searches from people who watch videos like mine. Um, this is always fascinating to me. Reverb pedals for guitar, reverb pedal for metal, what's on your pedal board, guitar amps for beginners, best looper pedals for guitar, best 10-watt guitar amp, electric guitar guide, best volume pedals for guitar. It's
yeah,
like a few weeks ago, the number one result was pedal board power supplies.
yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, it's an interesting, it's a really interesting dynamic. Yes, I know how to switch back now without starting the countdown again.
Yay! Yeah, and some of it's obvious because I saw it on yours too when your recent videos when you had that up.
Uh huh.
Of course, like I forgot that it was on analytics because it's a lot easier to find on the app
Yeah.
than it is on the. I'm not as familiar with the studio background on desktop, um, but I have some of the same ones. Like I saw the ridiculous reverb listings on yours, and that's also on mine. You know, our number one recent video search apparently for people who watch the 60 cycle hum channel is Rhett Scholl's "Why don't more people play aluminum guitars?" And I did see the number one comment on that was because they're broke, something like that, or like
Yeah.
people,
That makes sense.
people can afford it.
Also because if you've ever played a guitar after it's been cold, and the neck's cold, just imagine that guitar neck was metal now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
um so I
Oh,
don't
dude,
know.
we need to do a video of reenacting the scene from a a a Christmas Story.
The Christmas Story,
Yeah,
licking
licking
an
the light
aluminum neck.
pole instead of a licking an aluminum neck and getting stuck to it.
There's ways to do that that would make it really fun.
Yeah.
If the neck wasn't attached to the guitar, you could just do it and then just walk around with this guitar neck stuck to your face.
Or just you have to carry the guitar now. Like
Yeah,
you have no choice.
because you have that portability.
Yeah.
All right, guitar stuff, man.
Yeah,
Guitar
yeah.
stuff. I think. Well, there were a couple. I already forgot. One of them was the Tom DeLonge. What was the other? There was another thing where I said like, oh, I want to talk about. Oh, let me say this real quick. I pitched this idea. I don't know how I'm going to do it. It would be live stream somewhere, but I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube or somewhere else. But Michael asked about doing packaging, like doing boxing
Oh
videos.
yeah, yeah. Instead of
Um,
unboxing, do boxing videos.
yeah, and I do have an idea. I because what a lot of times if I merge Patreon, doing the packaging for Patreon and the packaging for the affordable stuff at the same time, um, there's uh there's potential there,
Yeah,
just to make that, or just really, like, it's like Joe does these too. I know Joan Pedal Playhouse does these, where it's just kind of like a workflow live stream. I
yeah.
just don't know if I want to do it on Instagram or if I want to do it on YouTube, or where I want to do it. I gotta try to figure some of that out, and I have to make sure I have enough to package to actually make it for a longer than. If I only have like a couple things to pack, it goes pretty quick. But when I have, like, I would say at least 8 things to package, I'd probably spend a good 45 minutes to an hour on it. Um,
So Amanda, what is the Instagram audio glitch? That's weird. I normally do my live streams on Instagram, but that's because I have more followers on Instagram than I do on YouTube. Um, I might start doing more YouTube live streams now that the subscriber count's getting up there a little bit. It might be worth it more, but we'll see. I like Instagram. I mean, I like YouTube a lot better than Instagram, to be honest. But Instagram, I don't
Excuse me.
know. It's still like the place for a lot of stuff, and I feel like a lot of the people that jumped ship to TikTok have come back to Instagram,
Yeah.
and Reels are the way to go.
Are they?
Yeah,
You
did
know,
you see Haley from Rocket Music Gears post about her engagement on Reels
the
compared to,
engagement on Reels is really weird right now.
yeah,
I
like
will say that.
I can't actually say what the numbers were because I won't remember them at all, but it was really insane the amount of engagement she got just by posting reels instead of, she basically didn't do any regular posts anymore, just reels.
Yeah.
And it was
Um,
millions of
I-
impressions.
Ian says to start a Kick channel. I've thought about whether, like, any of the stuff I do would be like Twitch/Kick appropriate, and it's
Hmm.
just, I don't know if maybe it's not, I don't feel I don't feel like I'm getting old, but I'm definitely. Oh, so here's why I don't like Instagram. I'll say this out
Okay.
the gate. The reason I don't like Instagram for live is because you can't picture it.
Yeah.
So that's like like YouTube, I realize you can't picture it unless you have premium, but a lot of people have premium.
Yeah. I pay for
Um
premium.
so a lot of times, like, if I sometimes, not always, but if I go to listen to, like, Phil McKnight's live stream from
Hmm.
Friday, sometimes I just pull it up on my phone and then I close my phone and I'm just listening. And then if something comes up, then I'll just open it and
Do
type
do
something
the
in the
other thing.
comments and then put it away. Um, you know, so there's a thing there. Sassy says it's in all
Yeah.
caps. Is TikTok being outlawed? Can you survive it? Very quickly. Um, for all of the failures that I think TikTok is tip top.
Tip top.
TikTok is in the middle, for lack of a better. For I haven't heard any of the updates on it, so I don't really actually know what's going on. Um, but let's see, news stories. House votes for possible TikTok ban in the U.S., but don't expect the app to go away. So that's from yesterday's.
Yeah.
A standalone bill with the shorter 6-month selling deadline passed in March. So this is now it's modified to lengthen the timeline to 9 months with a possible additional 3 months if sale is in progress. The bigger issue right now is I don't even know if we need this law to go through, because TikTok tip Jesus.
Oh, I love it.
Tik
You've either had too much coffee or not enough.
I've only had one cup, man.
Oh man.
TikTok is in the process. People use this term a lot.
Uh huh.
And sometimes I think they're using it incorrectly, but I'm going to use it correctly now, which is in shitification. So enshittification is kind of like when my understanding of it is it's when a website, well, in the case of the internet, it's so they call it the Cory Doctorow definition was the continual adjustment of the parameters of the system in search of marginal improvements of profits without regard to any other goal. Uh,
Okay.
which is 100% what TikTok feels like it's doing right now. Because when you go on to like your For You, every third video right now is an ad for TikTok Shop.
Yeah.
Which that is one of the issues with TikTok right now that I think is a big problem. But that being said, the bigger thing at play here that's really interesting is is that TikTok Shop has become both a symptom and a solution to like American economic problems. Uh, the problem, some of those problems being like people are selling like things that are not real. Like, oh, check out these AirPods. I got them for $30. Well, they're not AirPods because AirPods are only made by Apple.
Right. Exactly. Only Apple
Uh,
makes those.
and so what you're selling is garbage stuff through TikTok Shop that's made that's maybe I don't want to say it's a garbage product, but a lot of them are garbage product. Um, but there's so many people doing this and making like a couple $100 a month because that's the times that we're in. We're a couple $100 a month for so many people who who really just started doing. A lot of these people started doing TikTok. Maybe they have like 10,000 followers or whatever. Um, they're making a few bucks here and there, but they maybe started with some genuine purpose, and now they're just going in aggressively into promoting products in TikTok Shop. Um,
I see
so
this.
so
I see
so
this TPS joke, by the way, Crazed Fandango. I I see
is a
that.
oh my
Is a
gosh.
capo something that Batman O wears?
So the whole thing then becomes an issue where if the US government shuts down TikTok, what they're actually doing, and this is where it's like it's a mixed bag because are there data leak issues? Probably. I don't necessarily want to get into the reasons for it and whether or not it's good or bad. Uh just more the idea now that there's this added layer of your basic if TikTok goes down, there will be thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who will be losing a portion, if not a significant portion of their income. Now, that's always been the state of the internet of like
Yeah.
making money on the internet. If YouTube goes down, do we all move to Rumble? Probably, hopefully not. But I don't personally, I don't think but YouTube will go down anytime soon. But
Yeah.
if
YouTube
there
seems
was
to be the one that's going to hold up, to be
if
honest.
there was a significant shift in end user sentiment, you could see the same sort of thing happen with TikTok or with YouTube that happened with Twitter, where all of a sudden all of these people who were using Twitter for as an ad space decide I don't really like this format or this place anymore. We're not running ads here anymore, and now it's people who make content on YouTube are going to have a lower share. Google could just say like fuck YouTube, we're out. Like it's not going to happen. There's no reason for them to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying like in theory, you Google could decide we're cutting all of these people off. We're done. We're done with
They could.
this.
No, absolutely
You
could.
know.
So, to I'm gonna pivot us into a different conversation that I think is
Is it
important.
Tom DeLonge guitars? Because we still
Oh
need to
yeah,
get
we
back
need.
there.
Oh, we still want to go back there.
Eventually.
Okay. So
But
now I'm
no,
gonna
go ahead.
let's. I want to stay similar to this one. So there was a video that came out by a TikToker that I follow who is a writer, guitarist, producer. He's worked with a lot of bands that most of y'all have heard of. Um, and he actually took down a video that he put out there where because he actually got nervous about the information he uncovered. So I'm going to try to find the information again, but I shared it over in the uh, the Get Offset Discord and over in the 40 Watt Discord.
Hmm.
By the way, there are Discord channels for all of these podcasts if you want to come hang out in Discord with us. Um, so he discovered that he found an artist that was a made up artist, made up name.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and using music from other artists, and they just slow it down or speed it up, and they change the pitch enough that the Spotify detection for copyright doesn't flag it as a copyright violation, right? And are you looking
yeah.
for it? You gonna try to find it?
No, I'm not. I've well, because I heard about this on TikTok.
Yeah. So, what's going on is you've got these Spotify artists that all have around the same number of followers, about the same number of uh, listens to all the
Hmm.
top tracks, and they're just copies of songs that already exist, and they're basically it's money laundering. It's
Yeah.
almost certainly money laundering. Um, and like he started to identify artist after artist after artist that are all just made up name around the same number of followers, around the same number of listens for each of the songs, and they're just songs stolen from other artists, slowed down and pitched to make sure they don't trigger the copyright protection.
Hmm.
And they're literally stealing money from other legitimate artists because the way Spotify works, Spotify doesn't really have, I mean, they say a rate that how much they're paying, but it's
Right.
really, we have this much pool of money to give to all of these people who are getting, you know, listens. And they
Hmm.
spread that pool of money out to the people getting listens. And so it can fluctuate. So if you've got a bunch of false artists that are now getting monetization on their not original music that they're stealing, it thins out the amount of money that the actual artists are getting.
Yeah.
It's apparently way more widespread than just one or two out there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I saw some of that, and I don't really. Again, it's a whole thing, and I think this is also symptomatic of the whole space with where Spotify's come in and they've said if you don't get 1,000 streams, we're not going to pay you. Um, and I think that's like when things like this come up where they're saying like, look, there's people who are getting paid and all they're doing is um, tweaking someone else's song and re-uploading it.
Right?
It's a big problem. Like clean your own house.
So, okay, I'm going to share this in the comment section. There's a Reddit thread from about a year ago that seems to be talking about this same trend. And
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I saw that.
yeah, so y'all can deep dive that if you want to, because honestly, at least for me, I won't speak for Steve. I don't know enough to talk about this much further in depth here.
Yeah.
So I don't have the info. I don't have the knowledge. I just thought it was an interesting thing worth bringing up that I think is needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah, so this one actually, the one that you just linked is one where they're talking more about uh artists, people who are uploading songs and then saying it's like getting it onto the release radar playlist um by saying that the songs are collaborations with artists that they're not collaborations with.
Oh, I
So
gotcha.
that's even a different scam.
Yeah. So there's a few other. You may have to search it out and
So there's a few different ways people are um
so the side. So here's the side tangent, right?
mhm,
Here's the implication, and I think why the guy who put out the video took it down is the belief is that these accounts are being created by Spotify,
yeah.
not by someone
Oh,
trying to steal,
interesting.
not by someone trying to steal credit, not trying to steal money, but by Spotify as a means of money laundering.
Right.
So I don't know if there's truth to that. Spotify, please, I don't actually. I mean, my podcast is on Spotify, so I guess. Uh, but don't shut me down if you don't have it. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it. I'm just saying other people are saying it.
I mean, there's certainly like a lot of the accusations all revolve around a lot of the different ways that these scams are happening with fake artists. I put in quotes because I don't really know how they're generating the music
Yeah,
necessarily. If it's so I say fake. What does that actually mean? Somebody's making the music. Um,
AI.
but what I mean by that is a lot of these artists are Swedish. So that goes to your point. Like, is this just money laundering?
Yeah.
Is Spotify working with record labels to prop up fake artists because all the record labels that are involved in this are also Swedish? It certainly, it smells. If it walks like a duck and it smells like a duck,
Right.
something like that.
And I feel like by even talking about this, I feel like I'm wearing the tinfoil hat and I'm being ridiculous. And so I'll say I don't know exactly what's going on, but I think something is going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Obviously, it's working. We actually dropped viewers while talking about this, so people don't care. It's
I,
fine.
it's been a slow morning in general.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
think
been
we've had I don't think we've been over 45, so
we did. We
it's
we
fine.
crossed 50 at one point. It's
Oh,
fine.
missed it.
It's fine.
All right.
So Tom DeLonge. Let's talk about
Tom
Tom DeLonge.
DeLonge, Starcaster, never in the history of that's not true. But never in the history of Fender products has a Fender product come out that I've cared less about than the Tom DeLonge Stratocaster.
I'm so
I don't
glad
know.
you said that because I don't care.
I just, I don't know what to. Here's my problem with it.
Okay.
Let's
Then
see.
I'll give you my problem with it.
Let me see if I can find a way to share. What can I share? Can I share the full window? Let's share the full window.
Okay. It may ask me
No,
to let
I
you.
don't want to.
No, it just says share screen. It's real weird.
Oh, that's where it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You want to share screen. All
Well,
right.
I did. Okay. So, oh, sorry. I wanted to start here. Oh, yeah. Go away.
Yeah.
This is the Tom DeLonge Starcaster. Anyone who's been paying attention, uh, except LB, who says he's a drummer. uh, but uh, but this is the Tom DeLonge Starcaster. It's $1,200 electric guitar, satin Olympic white. Okay, problem one. This is the Squier Affinity Series Starcaster maple fingerboard electric guitar uh, in Olympic white. So this is the same color, different finish. I guess different fretboard. This
Different
has this.
knob location.
This has the superior headstock. Is it a different knob location? Oh, different knob location. This is $299. This is $1,200. So it's like whatever. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But
Cool.
you get 10% off when you sign up to the cart and create an account.
I cannot zoom in far enough on this. The and there's always been a little bit of overlap here. One, I just can't be bothered with Tom DeLonge products anymore. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm just not that interested. Two, I think it's really interesting that these are being made in Indonesia. Whereas I believe where the modern player Starcasters made in, I guess the modern player Starcaster would have been made in,
Mexico.
was it made in Mexico?
Should have been made Mexico.
Some of the modern player stuff was made in China.
Was it really?
Yeah.
So
So
I'm going to give you a real quick hot take.
yeah, the modern player Starcaster was crafted in China. So this is where it's kind of like maybe that's not as big of a deal, but it definitely feels like it feels weird to me that um it's like, are these being made on the exact same assembly line in the exact same factory with just different drill points? I don't know. They
It
do have
was.
Seymour.
It's
They do have
crafted
Seymour
in
Duncan humbuckers.
crafted in China. I'm looking at one, the Fender Starcaster Modern Player, and somebody wants $1,600 for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. So here's the deal. First of all, so I'm gonna share this one, or at least I'm gonna try to. We're gonna see if I'm capable of operating technology. Um, so this
Mm-hmm.
one.
Yep.
Um, this is the one I found that's $1,500, and I'm gonna actually extend this. So never mind, it's fine. Um, this is a good looking guitar. I think this is a good looking guitar.
Also, these aren't wide range pickups, right? They just look like wide
They
range pickups.
exactly. They just look like wide range pickups. Um, this, if my internet will ever pull it up, looks like shit.
Right, right.
Look, look at this garbage.
Oh yeah, the fact that they went with the headstock that the closest description I can think of is it looks like when Fender was making like the new Porter acoustics back in like the
Yes.
60s. That's what that headstock looks like.
If
The
it doesn't have
Starcaster,
this headstock, feck you.
yeah,
Sorry, this is
the
the Starcaster
Starcaster
headstock.
is one of the more controversial uh headstocks in guitar history. Um but yeah, I don't get it. I legitimately
It
don't
is
get it.
so ridiculously ugly.
Where
Compared
was it?
to compared to this one, made in China, but it looks good.
Yeah, the Bigsby in this one I believe is added on, but still, why are you on my
I
screen twice?
don't know why I'm double.
uh,
So
Scott Scott Spencer says earlier though, no interest, sales will be low. From what I've been talking to people, I think they're gonna sell. They're gonna sell very well. Um, but I don't know why. Like I
I
don't
gotta figure out
legitimately
why
like
I'm doubled
I don't
now.
know who this is for. Um, but I think they're going to sell very well. Craze Fandango says signature guitars, amps, effects always seem to be a way of charging more for ordinary equipment. Um, yes, and to some extent, I think that's fine. Like it is what it is. But on the other hand, I think that it feels like in this moment, um, we are seeing more and more signature models come out that feel like it's nostalgia grabbing. When
Yeah.
everything that at least I feel like I'm surrounded with is a nostalgia, some kind of nostalgia grab, whether it's and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. I've talked about this on the podcast before. Olivia Rodrigo basically putting out an album of Breeders covers is like fucking amazing. Like the Guts album has like just a ton of
Yeah.
references that feel like what's the other one? Is it Romeo Void? Yeah, Romeo Void. There's some Romeo Void vibes on there, which is an older artist. There's a lot of Breeders vibes on there. And Veruca Salt and that whole 90s girl alt scene. But um there's just a lot of nostalgia for the sake of nostalgia. You have all of these like kids like teens TV shows from 20 years ago that are getting reboots or getting rewatch podcasts or podcasts or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um Things like that. But there's at the same time it's kind of like that's how I feel about all these signature models that are coming out, or even these reboots. And are the prices justified? The prices, I would say the prices aren't unexpected.
Yeah.
How much is the Dave Grohl? I forget. It's like
Well, actually, I was about to say, so you get options for $1,200, you can get this thing, or
Hmm.
for $1,300, you can get this.
Right, but I would also say for $1,300 you can get that, or for $900 you can get the Emily Wolf.
Oh no, absolutely, absolutely.
And what's the I don't, legitimately I don't know what the difference is between
Let's
the
see.
Emily Wolf besides the color. Oh, I guess the headstock.
The headstock is different. But let's sit here and peek. Let's say so for $900, you get the Emily Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go down to specs, and we're gonna do the same thing on the Dave Grohl. Um, Click the spec button. Thank you for making this easy, Sweetwater. This live stream is not brought to you by Sweetwater, but
It
it could
should
be.
be.
Sweetwater, talk to us. Um, so I'm going to skip the 6-string right-handed thing. So semi-hollow body shape is technically a Sheraton and not a 335 for whatever that difference is. Laminated maple on the top of the Dave Grohl. Emily Wolf just says maple. We can assume laminated. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
it's
Close,
same.
close enough.
Yeah. Finish is gloss. You got white versus blue. The neck material on the Dave Grohl is a one-piece mahogany elliptical C. The Emily Wolf is mahogany with a slim taper 60s C.
To that point, hold on.
Yeah.
To that point,
Uh-huh.
the big speculation is the one-piece mahogany neck is why so many Dave Grohl guitars are arriving in the United States broken.
That's it. 100% because
Broken.
it needs to be a scarf joint. It should have been a scarf joint.
So if you want to pay 1,300, I mean, I don't know how many of those there really are, but I've at least seen, 5 or 6 different people post pictures of cracking finishes, if not fully cracked
Yep.
headstocks on their Dave Grohls when they received them the first time opening the box.
Yep.
And now 5 or 6 isn't a ton when they've probably made thousands of these things, but
Yeah.
it's too many.
Yeah, so you've also got some different inlays, lightning bolts versus split diamonds. They both have laurel fingerboards. They both have basically the same nut width, the same scale length. The pickups are going to be your big thing. So also the hardware. The Dave Grohl has the Locktone ABR with the Locktone
Right.
stop bar.
So
The Emily Wolf
the
has the
Dave's got
Epiphone.
the Dave's got the USA stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's got the
The
USA
USA
pickups,
hardware.
USA hardware, whereas the Emily Wolf has the Alnico Classics, and the Dave Grohl has Burst Bucker 2 and 3.
So
And
Gig
Gig Bag versus Hard Shell Case.
Burstbucker 2 and 3, those are $150 pickups. The you probably can you even buy the Alnico Classic Pros by themselves?
I don't know.
You
Let me see.
cannot, but
Okay.
they're probably so that this I won't argue this as a side grade. This is a $300 pickup set versus probably where if you were to try to just buy these on the used market.
Yeah, you're gonna
um
pay $75 to $100 for the set.
Oh, you can actually buy a Pro Bucker set on Amazon apparently for
Wait.
$76, but I'm also seeing them on eBay for $40. So
But that's not the Alnico Classic Pro.
oh, one of them I'm seeing on eBay is listed as the Alnico. Oh, I see what you're
Yeah.
is the Classic Pro not the Pro Bucker?
No, they are
No, it's
different
not.
pickups.
Okay, so the classic, I'm seeing a set of
Here
classics
you
on
go.
Reverb for $66.
Yeah, and I see a set with a harness on eBay for $60.
Yeah. So let's say 60 versus 300. So the $240 difference. So that gets you, I guess, from $900 to $1,150. So I mean, I guess that's most of the way there.
Yeah, and then you got the hard shell case
You
versus
got the,
gig bag.
all right, fine.
The value's there, like the price prop is there. It makes sense. A couple of other issues are there. Either way you want to look at it. If you like the Firebird headstock, you go Dave Grohl. If you like the Epiphone Sheraton headstock, you go Epiphone. I mean, Epiphone. You go the Emily Wolf.
Yeah.
I think I've played both. Both are great guitars. I like them both a lot. So let me see if I can get back
Oh, you
out
know
of
what?
this.
Also, the Dave has 4 knobs, and the Emily Wolf only has 3 knobs. So
Yeah,
that's
I
like
think it has a master tone instead
it's like
of.
a individual pickup in a single master tone. So
Yep.
that's probably at least a 20% accountability for the price difference right there. Is just that one extra knob.
Yeah. How do you feel about signature guitars, Steve? Just in general. Let's talk
Um,
signature guitars.
I mean, I do own one sort of ish, but
I have two
not on
now.
purpose.
I have two now. Three if you count Les Paul.
Well, yeah. So in that case, I own 2, but one of them is a Les Paul. Um, I think that's all I own. Yeah,
Smart Mammal. Shifty already has a signature.
yeah, he
He has a
does.
Fender signature Telecaster, and I think they're going to be making it in a custom shop version.
And Pat Smear has, so somebody pointed out Pat Smear has a signature Hagstrom. Nate Mendel, he had a signature Fender bass, right? He still does.
There you go.
So
That's the Chris Shiflett in
yep.
Shoreline Gold. Um, who is the other one you said?
Nate Mendel. Or are you talking about or Pat Smear? They both have them,
Okay.
but I don't know if they the Pat
Oh,
Smear's Hagstrom, so I don't
oh
know
yeah, they
if
don't carry
Ford
them.
sells them.
So yeah, this one right here. No, that's the Kim. Here we go. I can internet, I promise. There's the Pat Schmear. I don't know why I add Schmear.
That's
Um,
how I always say it too.
Schmear with that H in there.
Yeah.
That's why I thought I was spelling it wrong. To be really honest.
I don't even know
Um,
if I have any bagels in the house. I do. I have bagels. I don't know if I
okay.
have cream cheese.
I mean, I have, like I said, and one of my signature guitars is for sale right now. So,
What's okay? What signature guitars do you have?
I have the Jason Isbell Telecaster.
Right. That's the
I
one that's for sale.
Yep, that is the one for sale, and I literally got this one yesterday. This is the Luther Dickinson ES335,
Oh, very
which
cool.
they only made like nobody knows. Some people have said 250, some people have said 400 of these. I don't know. I know they made them for like 1.5 years, and it is one of only 3 that I can find times that Gibson ever made a 335 with P90s. Not a 330.
Whoa.
It's a semi-hollow guitar, so it's not a
Right.
fully hollow like a 330. It's a it's an actual 335 with P90s. The only other 2 times they've done it, one was a Guitar Center exclusive back in like 2011 that has a slim taper neck on it, and those are really hard to find. And they did it for a very short run in 2019, right before Henry J got the boot and JC came in. So that's one of the ones that got ended when they trimmed the offerings down. So they're real
Okay.
hard to find a 335 with P90s. I've been hunting this guitar for 2 years, and I finally found one. It was still more than I wanted to pay for it, but I finally found one. I was in a place I could make things work. I have to sell some stuff to recoup the money though, because I'm not made of that kind of money.
Uh,
Mark DeBrun. Why is Steve podcasting with Trogley? I can't imitate Trogley's voice, Mark.
I don't. I always hear things about his voice, but I don't really.
You don't hear
Doesn't
it?
mean anything to me. No. I do want to throw this up. Ryan Berman in the chat. I think it was Ryan Berman. He owns one of these, the Chris Miller signature model. I don't even know who Chris Miller is. He doesn't. Me at 6. I've never heard of this band,
I no idea. I've never heard of him at all.
but apparently maybe they must be bigger in the UK. I don't know, but it's cool. His has the racing stripes on it.
Uh
I'm
huh.
probably can't figure out how to show that, but this is a cool little Jet Kingish sort of vibe to me. But
Yeah, I see that. You know what it looks? It looks kind of like. Oh, I gotta add you back.
oh, oh,
Yeah,
that's weird.
it takes you away.
Hmm.
It kind of reminds me of the. Do you remember the Yamahas that had the light up LEDs around the knobs?
Yeah, yeah.
It reminds me of that guitar.
What were those called? I don't know, and I don't want to look it up.
I know. It's the RGX A2.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I knew there was an A in there somewhere. Um,
So there, that one. I just don't know how I feel about that guitar. I remember when they came out, and I thought they were ridiculous. I guess I still think they're ridiculous.
yeah, I've literally never heard of this band, You Me at Six, but they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 albums,
Oh, really?
and they are described as a pop punk alt rock band from the UK. What in the world? Sweetwater, Squire Classic Vibe.
That's so many words. Squire, classic vibe, limited,
No,
Sherwood Green. Okay, I found it. Oh well, you you. Yep, it's not a Sweetwater exclusive. Okay, that's why I was confused. You got it? Yeah, there you go.
yeah. It says it's on pre-order. It's actually apparently hasn't actually been released yet then. If
That
it's showing
Sherwood
as
Green doesn't
pre-order.
look very Sherwood.
It doesn't. I don't know what color I would call this, but
I say that as someone with a Sherwood Green Squire guitar.
yeah. But then how many shades of Lake Placid blue are there?
We won't talk about that. Lake Placid Blue doesn't exist. Same thing with Pelham Blue doesn't exist.
Yeah. Um oh man. I
Yeah,
don't know. Going back to the whole signature guitar topic,
yeah. How you feel about
I
it?
understand why they exist in some to some extent. When an artist is offering you something unique in it, I think there's function there. I think that there's a market for it. I kind of go back and forth because I think is that the
That's the Kingfish.
oh, the kingfish. Just because it was purple, I thought it was the Danish Pete.
Yeah, I kind of want one of these. I'm not gonna lie. Um, Something unique on this one is it's got a shallow V neck.
Oh, interesting.
You don't see a shallow V on a lot of guitars anymore.
So those are the kinds of features where like when if a company brings in a guy to kind of get appointments like that, I can kind of like justify it a bit more.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Oh, you mean when they just make a sunburst beat up Stratocaster? You're like, why?
yeah, yeah. And so there's I mean, I don't know, like play what you want. If you really want like to get a signature or whatever, I kind of go back and forth on it because on the one hand, like I don't really some of the artists that they come out with for these things, like did the world need another Tom DeLonge product? I personally don't think they did. But if you want it, that cool for you, I guess. Like I don't know what it's gonna do that um any other single, you know, again, like just you could get the Squire Starcaster and smash one of the pickups out of it, or and just take the pickup out and take three of the four knobs out and whatever.
I so also I don't know. I get it. Fans of bands influenced by those bands. Um, I just Tom DeLonge has had three different signature guitars at this point.
Like types of signature guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, he had the Strat,
Yeah, the Strat, the
the
Gibson,
Gibson,
and now the
and now this
Starcaster.
one, the
That's what I
Starcaster.
mean.
Yeah, and I'm like, I none of them interest me, but the newest one's definitely the ugliest of the three.
Yeah, yeah. But again, I think they're gonna. I think you're in a few months once they start actually coming out. You're gonna see a lot of people posting how excited they are to finally get their
They
Tom
will.
DeLonge Starcaster.
They will, but
Um,
I have so little interest. I have little interest in most signature editions. Like the Luther Dickinson, I did not buy because of Luther Dickinson, who I know Luther and have hung out with Luther, but I didn't buy it for that reason. I bought it because there's so few options for a 335 with P90s.
right, right. So I think. I mean, I don't know what the take if there. I don't know what the takeaway is. Is there a
Oh, I don't think
takeaway?
there's a takeaway. I think we're just talking.
I just kind of feel like I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's
I don't know if
yeah,
this is
I was
true,
looking at
but
that. Fender tooling for Starcasters is only in Indonesia now, so it's a Fender. Yeah, no, I mean it is it is an Indonesian Fender. And again, like I don't want to be too critical on that because the Starcasters used to be made in China and
yeah.
Fender has shared particularly for signature models, they've shared what at least look like shared. Well, they definitely shared like country of origin before
Yeah.
with Squire. Again, it just kind of seems like you're trying to justify a $600 price hike on throwing in a Seymour Duncan custom, which is the model. It's not custom. It's just a pickup that's called custom,
Right, right. It's not a
which is
custom. It's a thing they already made. It's
which is
not.
what I have very few gripes with Seymour Duncan, but that is one of my longstanding gripes, and it's still not as bad as my favorite brand confusion, uh, which is the Sterling by Music Man bass.
Wait. There's the Music Man Sterling. There's the Music Man like affordable line called Sterling. Now they're making a Sterling.
You know what, I said that, and I actually don't know if they make that,
Okay,
but
please tell me they don't, because
it
that's
looks like their bases are only right now are only Stingrays.
okay. Good, because that's
But
the
I
most
feel like
ridiculous thing ever.
I feel like it's only a matter of time before we get the
The Sterling.
Sterling by Sterling. I don't know.
You know what I want? If you're gonna make a Sterling, make a Scott Sterling signature bass. I don't know. No, it's a bad reference to a YouTube video, Steve, of the guy who
Oh,
gets hit
okay.
in the face with the
Oh, yeah,
soccer
yeah.
ball. His name is Scott Sterling.
Right.
Scott
Yeah, I
Sterling.
the one
Sorry.
that I saw was the one where he's a goalie.
Yeah, that's it. He's playing
Yeah.
soccer and he's getting like smashed in the face with the ball and every
Yeah.
single time, and it's hilariously beautiful. They tried to redo it with like volleyball or some other sport.
Oh,
It's
gotcha.
not as good. The soccer one is the good one.
Yeah, the vintage brand is another one that's a little confusing to me.
Yeah.
Like I and actually that's the one that drives me nuts because Sterling or vintage being I don't know if it's fair to call them up and coming because they've been
They've been
around for a
around
while,
forever.
but they're certainly having a moment again right now.
Uh-huh.
And so being in the listening to guitar nerds and hearing the Joe or whoever else talk about how they just got this brand new vintage guitar and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah,
You got a what?
it
I'm
boggles
gonna
my mind.
I'm gonna start my own guitar brand. It's gonna be called Antique Guitars. Yeah, I got this brand new. Get your brand new antique guitar right now.
I just love that guitar players have completely corrupted the definition of the word vintage.
Mm,
Anyway, because it comes from wine, as far as I'm aware, and all vintage means is what year it was made.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
all it meant. It
The
didn't
year
mean
or
old.
place, the year or place in which wine, especially of high quality, was produced.
Yep,
So
that's all.
I think technically it's usually has to be to be vintage, it's also like single crop,
Yeah.
which I
Oh yeah.
guess
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the year.
Yeah. That's the year. It's got to be whatever year it was picked is the year that matters, not
Yeah.
necessarily the year it was bottled. Um, it's anyway.
But
That's a
how old is
semantics.
that word? That word's got to be like a
I don't
billion years
know.
old.
I and we
Billions. Billions and billions.
I don't think 47 people want to hear us look up the origin and age of the word vintage.
I don't know.
They might.
People vote in the. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe that's a new podcast concept where we just talk about the origin of words in the guitar industry.
Etymology,
Yeah.
Middle English, probably alteration of vendage from Anglo-French vendage, vendage. So it has been used since at least the 15th century and since 1601 as an adjective.
All right.
But as to where, if there's like examples from older literature where they talk about vintage outside of the wine, I don't know, and I'm not going to bother looking that up.
Mark, Mark, I probably disagree with it needing to be desirable when it came out because the Les Paul was not desirable when it came out. Now, if you're talking wine, it's a different ball game, but the Les Paul was not a desirable guitar when it came out.
No. The chat, it's funny. Today's chat has been very active, but also they've just kind of been rolling with us on the topics. I want to maybe spend a few minutes because I know we are
Yeah, we're running up on it.
we're about on it. If anyone's got any Q&A type stuff, maybe we can hit that for however long that lasts, and
And
then
while we're waiting on those to roll in, here's your reminder that on Tuesday, Summer School Electronics is releasing a new pedal. This is not it. It is over here. I can't show it to you yet, but it's over
I've
here.
played it. It's sick.
It's real rad. I'm recording my video later today for it to release on Tuesday.
Nice.
Also, Mark is going to be on JHS this Tuesday for the release of it. So if you like it and you think it's rad, you better order one fast when it launches. Because I asked Mark if he'd put aside enough of them, and he said, I've run out of space to put them. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I got this from summer school.
Oh, did you order one of those? Yeah, the business booster.
They don't make these.
I know.
I was so excited about them at NAMM that I got them, and I use it to hold my my little remote for my lights.
I like it. I like it a lot. I did not get one. I passed on that one. I have like I said, the science fair, and I have the new one over here, and I'm gonna get a couple of more. He makes some really cool stuff. Oh, Michael Kraus, Full Tone, Demonic Machines. Let's see. Don't type there. I can't fire Steve.
What?
That comment, fire Steve. I can't fire Steve. Steve doesn't work for me.
I barely work for me.
I'm about to say, at best here, I'm the unpaid intern. So you said Full Tone is back and Demonic Machines is Demonic Machines gone? Is Lucky done?
So Lucky, I didn't watch the video. He went live on Instagram, which is why I didn't. That kind of sounds shitty, but that's where I'm kind of at with it. Is I just haven't had time. Again, Instagram videos, you can't picture it. So if it's something that I just need to listen to, it's kind of like it's tricky for me to like break out of stuff. I don't really know. I don't really know what's going on. Something involving JHS apparently.
Oh.
I don't know. People, I'm just looking at the comments. People are talking about JHS in the comments of this Instagram video. So maybe I need to go back and listen to it. But I know he's at least taking a break.
Okay.
Or like pumping the brakes pretty hard. I do know like they've been in a tough spot bouncing around, like moving from San Diego to Arizona, and now I think to the Minneapolis area. So I don't
Okay.
really know how that's impacted. I'm sure getting everything restarted has been tricky. Um, of course, the thing with full tone there is sort of tongue in cheek, but
Yeah.
um, I'm just not that interested in. I'm interested in seeing what Jackson Audio does with full tone, if anything, but I'm just
Yeah.
generally not interested. But that's kind of like a thing that I know we've talked about before. Is like
Yeah.
the I guess like every full tone, not every full tone product, but a lot of let's see, I'm looking at the OCD. Okay, that's like a sort of a classic pedal.
Uh-huh.
Um
You got the Deja vibe, you've got
the Deja,
the
I would
full
say
drive.
the Deja vibe, the full drive, and then the tape echo.
Yeah, which
After that,
I have
I
the
don't
tape echo.
I don't know that like they have the 69 and the 70 fuzzes, which I'm not sure what the difference are.
Silicon
But
germanium, I believe. Don't quote me on that,
hmm,
but I think that's the
oh,
difference.
I guess the 69's sold out. The Super Wall and the Clyde's like, and a lot of these things are sold out right now. So I don't know what products Jackson's going to relaunch for them, but in general, Full Tone's kind of in my mind is a brand that just exists and doesn't actually mean anything to me.
I
Um,
like full tone. The pedals. I like the pedals. I've always liked full tone pedals. And that's something you'll never hear me say about full tone is that they don't know how to make great pedals because they
yeah.
do. Um, the rest of it, which I'm y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I'm burned out on talking about the rest of it. Um, I don't know. We'll see. The pedals are great, and that's about all I can say. The rest of it, I used to own a lot more full tone stuff, and I sold it all off at one point. You can probably guess that point, like a lot of
Yeah.
people. Um,
I'm gonna I'm gonna step out for a second. Go ahead and carry this for a minute. I got to take care of something, and I'll
go
be
for it.
back to answer some more questions.
All right. So, DeBrune, you said, why doesn't Fender sell their beginner amps under the Squire brand? I'm pretty sure they tried that at one point. I think some of the package amps that they did in guitars, they did them as Squire. They were Squire amps with Squire guitars. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm pretty sure they did that for a little while. Which amps do you think they would list as Squire? Um, cause the Mustang? Do they still make the little tiny solid state amp that doesn't have anything? It's just an amp. I don't know. I don't think there is a market for Squire amps, especially right now. Um, I think the market for amps, and this breaks my brain and hurts to say, but I think the market for amps is shrinking. I don't think it's going to go away. I don't think it'll ever go away, but it is shrinking. I was talking with someone the other day, and Scott and I talked about this on the most recent episode of 40 Watt Podcast. It's just selling amps is hard right now because more people own one amp and a bunch of guitars than the other way around. And also, a lot of people who used to have amps have gone to modeling solutions, especially it. This feels like Vox amps are having a really hard time right now because I feel like the market that Vox amps were the most popular, is the largest demographic of people that have gone purely digital. So, Steve, where I am is we're talking about Fender and budget amps, and we're talking about how hard it is to move amps. Period. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, I mean, don't get me wrong. In the genres I play in, everyone is still playing amps. Like most
Right.
people aren't playing digital solutions, but most people are way more likely to own one amp and a bunch of guitars rather than the other way around. Um, I know that I'm the outlier there. I'm just an addict. I know. Um, and also Vox. I think Vox is having the hardest time because I see how cheap AC30s are going for now, and even
Mm.
AC15s, because I feel like the demographic of players that play Vox are the same folks who embraced modeling the earliest.
Yeah,
And
I
now
think
you take it. I'm gonna go use the
sure.
restroom real
I'm
fast.
looking at kind of different comments in here, which I have no control over. But I don't.
Tell me to pick one, and I'll put it before I walk away.
Just the Mark's follow up, maybe. Why put Fender on it when they don't want to put Fender on their cheap guitars?
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know the answer to that. I mean, I think that there's probably a reason for it. Um, my thought is it's probably about manufacturing facilities and the fact that like they probably don't have um if they're making it in one place, they probably don't want to make it in multiple places. Squire amps have existed in the past as well. um they have not for a while. You used to get like the little Squire frontman in the like they had the Squire Champ 15. I'm looking them up. They've had various Squire little practice amps over the years that would come in like their amp packages. And why they don't do that anymore, I don't really know. um Squire guitar, does the Squire guitar pack no longer come with a Squire amp? The Squire Sonic Stratocaster comes with a Squire Frontman 10G. So they still make at least that one Squire amp. But it's certainly not like a broader product, to your point. Um and they used to do more with Squire amps. I remember seeing Squire PA systems. But I feel like they've only ever made the 10 or the 15 for their guitar amps. The SP10, the Frontman 10, whatever, these different frontline things. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that there's necessarily an answer to this. I don't know that it would benefit them either at this point. I think they've kind of just entrenched themselves for the broader, everything is Fender ness of it all. And so I don't know if there is necessarily a benefit to Fender all of a sudden saying our champion line is now going to be a Squire product.
So let's see. You think you covered the end of that one?
I just thought of this right now too, is all of your cheap Squire products
Uh huh.
are Smart Mammal says Squire bundles come with Fender branded amps, but the one that I just looked at was a Squire, came with a Squire, so maybe it varies by the pack. Like the one
Yeah,
at
that's
Walmart,
possible.
the one at Walmart says it comes with a Squire amp. But I don't know.
Also,
Maybe it varies.
so Vox just launched a bunch of the hand wired amps. They relaunched them and they've updated them and they've got some new products coming out. So be on the lookout for those. I don't know how they'll do, to be honest, but um,
I mean,
so
we talked about this kind of recently, as I feel like Vox, for whatever reason, is not like just doesn't have like a lot of press.
they don't. I and yeah, they haven't really done anything that people have latched onto in a while. They've tried to innovate. They're trapped in that historical loop as well. They're stuck because there are people that just want what they used to do. But let's be honest, vintage Voxes are not very reliable. They're not, they had issues and they need to update them, but people get mad when they update them.
Yeah.
Okay, so slight change of topic. We're gonna try to get through a couple of more of these, and then so we can wrap up. Um, Random question, Steve. Do you know any
Yeah.
knockoff companies that make an Ibanez Iceman shape?
Uh, Not off the top of my head.
Me either.
I mean, I'm sure you could go on certain websites that sell them.
Yeah. All right. How about this one, Claire B? What would your underwhelming signature guitar be? I don't know if Claire means what existing signature model guitar do we think is the most underwhelming, or what if we got to make an underwhelming signature guitar? What would it be?
I
Um,
mean, I think any signature guitar that all they did was like, oh, instead of being like if somebody had a Les Paul, and I feel like this exists, and the only difference is like they put Seymour Duncans in it instead of Gibson pickups, and it's got a matte black finish instead of a glossy black finish, like
yeah.
you know, and that's all it was. Um,
I'm trying to think of a really underwhelming signature guitar besides the Tom DeLonge Starcaster. Um, I don't know. There's got to be a few out there that I'm just sort of like, why does this exist? Um,
Garth Samwise says Luther Dickinson ES335.
you are wrong. Actually, I'll be honest. Every single signature Strat, every single one of
Mm.
them is an
Wow.
every single one of them is an underwhelming signature guitar to me.
I
Uh,
don't know.
with
That's
with okay, I will actually. It's
a
easier
tough
for me to
take.
list the exceptions. How about that? I'll list the
Sure.
exceptions. The exceptions are the Robert Cray because it is a hardtail as
Okay.
opposed to a trim.
Hmm.
The Ed O'Brien because it actually does something interesting with the sustainer in there.
Okay.
Um, and the Richie Sambora because it had a Floyd.
Not gonna put the Clapton on there. Not a TBX fan.
No,
Okay.
boring.
Boring. Boring.
Uh,
Yeah.
so so with those three guitars do some. I guess technically the Ed O'Brien you could add that aftermarket really easily if you wanted to. I don't know. I've
Yeah.
never put a sustainer in a Strat before, so I don't know how easy that is to do. But a TBX you can do that on your own. If you just need to change pickups, you can do that on your own. If there's so much you can just do on your own that you don't need a signature edition to do. Um, the everything else to me is just like a finish change, or
Hmm.
it's just a slightly different set of pickups.
I
Oh,
think. I
the
think for
the semi
the.
hollow Eric Johnson one. I like that one too.
I don't think I've. I don't think I'm familiar with that one. Um. I think. Where the hell do I actually see? I'm trying to look at the Ed O'Brien. I think the sustainer circuit needs a battery, right?
Yeah, I think so.
So I don't know what kind of battery access they have for this thing. I'm trying to see if I don't see any pictures of the back of it on the Fender site. But otherwise, I mean, it should just be a drop in.
Yeah. So just to cover this one so you can see it, this one's on Reverb. Go to Reverb. Don't just open it up in a side window. Actually go to it. Um Here we go. This is the
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they did a semi-hollow Strat as so Eric Johnson has had a couple of different signature Strats.
Yeah.
This one obviously has some finish checking, whatever. Um, I just love that it's a semi-hollow Strat. You don't see that very
Hmm.
often. They also did one with a bound neck, which I think is interesting. So,
Hmm.
anyway, what about you? Underwhelming signature?
I don't know. I honestly I don't pay that close attention. Like I said, I kind of feel like the Grohl is a little underwhelming, all things considered.
Yeah.
Um, because it's just a Trini Lopez, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Um, are there hotter takes? Probably.
Yeah.
Um,
Like every
I
single
mean,
Strat.
yeah, it's kind of hard to beat that. I mean, every Les Paul signature is just like I said. I feel like a lot of them are just like how many are all the slashes just finish changes?
I think no, well, they're specifically modeled after specific guitars he's used, but none of them
Oh,
interest me.
I got the answer.
Oh, what's the answer?
Let me look at what the actual specs on this are before I insert foot in mouth. But I'm pretty sure this is my choice. Um, specs. Are these custom pickups? Burst Bucker 1 in the neck, and what's a DC high gain humbucker?
Oh, I don't know. DC high
Oh,
gain.
that is a potential signature pickup. I'm
Oh,
talking about the every Adam Jones guitar.
yeah. So
Oh, they're
there's
just silver burst, yo. Like,
yeah, they're just silver
calm
burst.
down.
And apparently, some people think the DC high gain humbucker is just a rebadged 500T.
Which would be hilarious and
I'm
sad.
reading headlines. I'm not saying that's a fact.
Oh, but they're saying someone is saying that if it was ceramic, um, Gibson usually calls out that they are ceramics,
Yeah.
and no one seems to actually know what the DC in the DC pickup stand for.
It's ridiculous. All right.
Um, Someone says that the pickup in question is actually a discontinued Seymour Duncan DDL,
Okay.
which I'm not sure what the DDL is.
I'm not familiar with that at all. Uh Dimebag Daryl? No.
It's
That
linking to the Seymour Duncan distortion.
okay. Oh, so it's a Duncan distortion pickup. The L denotes who wound it at the factory,
Oh,
Lydia.
okay.
So Lydia, it's a Duncan distortion wound by Lydia at Seymour Duncan.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's probably it for me is the Adam Jones stuff are all, Dimebag 7,000 finishes. Um Martian Murray says slashes have Alnico 2 magnets, but it's like I don't know. What's the Rabia EBMM? I don't
Have
know
you
that
seen that
one.
one?
I've
They
seen
they
it, but it's
launched it at
not.
NAMM.
Yeah,
There you
it's a
go.
2 humbucker. Oh, it's a Saber.
Yeah,
It's a
it's fine.
Saber with 2 humbuckers.
Yeah, it's fine.
And the flame actually feels like a departure for Music Man. I don't tend to associate them with flame finishes. So I don't know. I can kind of see why it's underwhelming, and that's where it's kind of like tough. Um, Mark says it's an artist guitar, not a signature guitar.
I think
I'm
that's
not sure
just
what the
Ernie Ball
difference is.
semantics. Yeah, I think that's just Ernie Ball semantics because they call the model the Rabia Masad Saber Artist Series.
Oh, okay.
And they do it in two finishes. I'm gonna be honest. This guitar has a lot of things I hate,
Mm-hmm.
but I like it. I don't. I don't like heavy flame. I don't like maple fingerboards. I don't typically like black hardware. But I'll be damned if I don't really like this.
Yeah.
But they
Um,
only made 30.
Going back, they only made 30. Oh, that's like the Ryan Bruce thing too. I think they only made 30 of each
Yeah, it was
finish.
limited to 30
Oh,
worldwide, and it
and man,
sold
but
out.
I
Apparently,
kind of
the Vile Blood will still be available. Is still available, but the Frenzied Flame Burst was 30, and I mean, don't. I was never gonna spend $4,000 on this, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I'm not sad that I didn't get one, but I think I like it. So
There were a couple other topics I wanted to hit. One, I don't know why Brian doesn't even own a JC22. I'm not so he'd have to buy one. That's problem number one with why he's not going to do any stereo affordable board with a JC22
right.
anytime soon.
I mean, he's got
Um,
two Princetons. Why would he do the
yeah.
JC22?
There was a question about pedal market being overwhelming. Trying to find
Oh,
it.
yeah. Let me see. Did they use the word market?
No, I don't know what
Oh,
they used. Um, which I feel like the answer is yes, but
yeah.
where is it? The question. Beginner amps. Oh, the Zazound Sparkle Finish Epiphones from Sassy.
Yeah, those are cool.
Um, those are really cool.
Yeah.
they're probably pretty safe bets. I really love the way that those look.
Yeah, hold on. We'll pull
Oh,
those
there
up.
it is. Smart Mammal pedals. That another overkill or oversaturation discussion. Um, I think there's so much brand swapping going on. I think that, so this is just my opinion. The market is simultaneously oversaturated and like wide open.
Yeah.
But it's not the kind of thing where you can just pick up one day and say, I'm going to do this. Like there's certainly like a bit of luck involved where what I would say is like, if you are trying to start a side business and you're like, what should I do with $1,000? Um, Starting a pedal company is probably like like maybe 1 degree less likely to be successful than just buying $1,000 worth of lotto tickets. Um, but again, that goes back to like you need to understand what your goals are and understand like what which is, so I don't say that to like dissuade anybody from doing it, just to say like what we've talked about before is like there's not like a ton of people who are doing it starting from a one-man shop and doing this as there has to be, you have to be doing it out of like a passion.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of room for that, and I think brands like Summer School actually are. uh this episode is only half sponsored by Summer School
Yeah.
because he doesn't sponsor me. I'm just messing with you guys. But uh like that's a brand where like Mark clearly and his team question mark, I know he's
There,
got
yeah,
at
he's got a
least one
couple of.
other guy,
He's got a guy who does some graphic design for,
yeah, who's also named
basically.
Steve.
Yep.
um so I know like there's a passion behind that, it's not just like it's not it he like accidentally fell into it and now he's trying to smartly build the company, so
Yeah.
you have to be smart about it. There's definitely room for it. We've seen this with like brands like Poison Noises that has only existed for I think at this point like 4 years,
Yeah.
and has been doing pretty good, getting their pedals into a lot of people's hands. Summer School again, you go to whenever you go to these either the Delicious Audio traveling pedal expo deal, or you at NAM they have like the single Delicious Audio booth. There's all these brands that are relatively small, one person, two person shop kind of situations that they're making enough money with it to stay in business, and it's just options. And what I would say is like I think is key is don't chase, like you don't have to chase everything. um you can just buy what you like, and that's where for me like kind of know like meeting the people behind it or interacting or just watching the kind of content that they make, whether it's just single posts. Like it might, if you have to pick between two Tube Screamers and the reason that you bought Tube Screamer A over Tube Screamer B is you like the photography style that the brand that sells Tube Screamer A does, then that's I think that's 100% legit.
That's
Like
as
there's not a
valid as
problem
any
there.
other reason. Um,
Yeah.
I buy for the most part. I buy from brands, not for the pedal itself, because
Yeah.
I can get the sounds I need out of a few hundred different pedals that are
Yeah.
out there. You know.
Claire, well, first of all, yes, I do remember when every practice amp was by Crate.
Yes.
But then Claire asked, and I don't think we covered this, hinging off of that earlier amp conversation. Do you think Fender could put out a sub $300 tube champ labeled Esquire? And I do think that that is kind of an interesting question. Basically what you'd be looking at is maybe Fender partnering with a brand like well, they're sponsoring my podcast now, the 60 Cycle Hum podcast. Like it'd be Fender partnering with a brand like Wong's,
Oh yeah, yeah.
or a brand like Monoprice, whoever's building the Monoprice amps. The thing is that I don't think that it's profitable for Fender to do that, because all they would really end up doing if Fender came out with a sub $300 tube amp, even as like a one or two. I mean, I guess if you limited the features to like a one or two knob, then maybe. But the issue is that you'd almost have to. So the Fender 68 Custom Vibro is $1,000. There's a 57 Champ Tweed for that's it looks like it's 800,
Uh-huh.
but then it's 1,300 at Sweetwater. So it's 800 at Guitar Center. So I'm kind of confused by that. The point being that when you're talking about something like a Champ, which is a very from a feature standpoint, it's a very simple amp.
Oh, the
Um,
$800 one's a used one at Guitar Center.
hmm,
That's why.
gotcha. Um, when you are looking at something like that and you say like, okay, we're just going to limit features, we're going to drop this out at like $300, it almost feels like you have to intentionally um trying to think about how to describe this. It's like you have to intentionally put out a broken product.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go? I guess like so. The question the thing thinking about is like, how would you go about putting out, given what we know about import amps right now, that all so many of these amps, all of these companies are able to put out good amps. Again, like the mono price, like the Wong stuff, like they can put out pretty cheap, um, especially when they're just like freaking printing uh these PCBs super fast. It's
Yeah, they
really
are.
like the cabinetry is probably the most expensive part of these amps, or the tubes themselves. um I just think uh one of the problems there is that if Fender came out with a $300 tube Champ, all they would do is take sales away from their $1,200 tube Champ, because it, or they would, again, they'd have to make something that sucks, which they probably don't want to do.
Well,
Like,
didn't
what's the?
they? Uh, they did come out with some like a really cheap. Uh, what is it called? Hold on, I'm gonna find it. There it is. They had the Fender Champion 600.
But it's not tube.
Yeah, it is.
The Champions. Oh,
Yeah, the Fender Champion
yeah, yeah,
600. They
yeah.
came out
Those
with it,
ones.
and honestly, they didn't do well. They sold for $150, and now they resell for like between 250 and 500. But they
Yeah,
came out with a
yeah.
super cheap tube amp, a little 5-watt 1x6 combo.
That was in the whole. Yeah, I actually completely forgot about these.
Yeah,
And that was in the same era that Epiphone, that Crate
the
had the
Special
Blackheart
Junior.
amps, the Special Junior. What are yeah, Epiphone had the specials. VHT had the Special 6.
Oh, that was a good one.
Um,
I had the Special 6. That was a really good amp. Still is a good amp. You can still
yeah.
buy those. Those are still made.
Um, so I do think that like there's kind of I don't know. I don't I don't know what that market would look like. There might be a better better market for it now that small amps are relatively popular. But again, that's probably where um, you'd want to stay.
This
You'd
one
want to
right
find a way
here.
to make a more expensive one. There are way more affordable guitars that are dangerous. Yeah.
To Fender than cheap tube amps. Yeah, agreed. Although, uh, I had this revelation while recording the podcast last week with Scott talking about buying and selling gear. A deluxe reverb reissue on a PCB made in Mexico amp
Hmm.
is $1,700 now for deluxe reverb
Right.
reissue.
Right.
That's absolutely bonkers money for a PCB. Uh, I realize it's down the road. Everybody's like, well, it's only a half hour away. Yeah, but do you know what the difference in the average salary and the average pay for a worker in the Mexican factory compared to the Corona, California factory is.
It's probably not as big as you want to think it is.
Uh, it's
That,
pretty
that
it
that's a dunk on Fender.
yeah.
They
Yeah, he's
I,
not. By the way, y'all, he's not saying that the Mexican workers get more money than we think. We're saying the American
right.
workers get less money than we think.
Let's see. Actually, I don't know if they have manufacturing jobs right now. Um, but I know they have in the past.
Yeah.
All
So
departments. Let's see. Product is it products? Is it operations? Body milling. Let's see. Body mill team lead versus collaborador de production. So body mill team. Oh, body milling is probably uh well, body mill team lead for Fender. The job is listed to as a current pay rate of $20.50 per hour for a team lead with a minimum of 2 years operations manufacturing experience preferred. This is a
say that amount again. How much?
$20.50.
Okay.
You know how much In and Out pays right now?
No.
So right around. Maybe it's a little. Well, they just changed the whole fast food wage structure. Um, so I don't know what it is now, but I know I've seen a year ago. I was seeing In and Out salary starting at like 17 or not salary, but 17 or $18 an hour. Um, oh, the job listing in Mexico does not at the Ensenada plant does not have a
Salary.
wage associated with it.
Of course
Uh,
it doesn't.
California jobs by law have to list like what the baseline
Mm-hmm.
salary. So let's see, soldering assembler starts at $18 per hour, and you have to be able to use a hydraulic press.
Which,
I don't know if
in
that's I
Mississippi,
don't know if that's hard.
that's good money in Mississippi, but
Sure.
in
Oh yeah, yeah.
California, that's not good.
Let's see, because we're on it, and I realize I'm just spitting, and I'm not sharing anything because I'm just flying right now.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Uh,
And then we've
I-
got a couple of more questions, and then y'all
the
were gonna
the
call it.
cheapest place for rent in Corona right now is a 1 bath studio for $12.50. That's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's cheaper than I thought it was gonna be. But
But
what's the
so
neighborhood like?
I
Um,
don't know. And
so
honestly, I didn't even look. It's a cute historic studio located in the circle of Corona. I don't know what the circle is. I don't go to Corona. Um, I was actually in Corona. I cruised through Corona yesterday, but
oh, nice.
I don't normally go to Corona. I don't know where the Fender thing is.
Yeah.
What's the next thing you want to hit?
All right. The next question. How about this one, real quick, fast, rapid fire? Is there an affordable pedal for the whammy DT pedals out there?
Not that I've seen.
No, I don't think there's an affordable option outside of that. That's you. You either get the whammy or you do what I did. Instead of buying a whammy, I bought an HX1 and an expression pedal,
Yeah.
which is not cheaper, but it's more versatile at the very least. All right. Here you go, Steve. What would you give away now to a newbie? New player, and you could just give away something to them. What would you give them?
This feels like a trap question,
It does.
but I would give them a tuner.
That's an I have given away tuners. That's what I do.
Uh,
I buy
and
I buy the clip on snark tuners. Or actually I don't because I'm not a big fan of the snark ones. I buy either the D'Addario or the Boss ones and give them away.
I mean, I even the ones that Reverb was selling for like $2, like I don't know how long ago that was. I I bought like 6 or 7 of them. I literally was buying like one headstock tuner for every instrument, kind of a deal. Uh, and literally, I think they felt like they were selling them for cheaper than it would cost to just buy the batteries. So when the battery died, you just would throw them away, which is extremely wasteful. But
Hey
um,
Mark, I am also in Mississippi.
yeah,
I'm from Clarksville.
so
I live over in Starkville.
but that's kind of like I would just when I would have one of those headstock tuners on and someone would come by and be like, "Oh, that's really cool. Where did you get that? Like, I want to get one for my guitar." I would just give it to them.
Yeah,
I only did
exactly.
that a couple times because I didn't have a ton of them, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'd give them away when I was playing in show choirs, and a couple of times I've been hired to play for show choirs, and they'll have a student also playing guitar.
yeah.
Um, and by the end of the run, the student's doing pretty well, but early on, they're. But I've almost always, they almost never have their own tuner, and so I always end up buying a tuner and just giving it to them.
Yeah.
All right, and last one.
Ah, good. I wanted to do this one.
Yeah, last question.
Um, they can. The answer is they can.
Yes.
Uh, and the thing is what's interesting is Effects Bakery. They're, as far as I could tell, and maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong. Like, I don't know that Effects Bakery is using particularly unique circuits, and what I mean by that is I don't know that their tube screamer isn't just a Mosky or whatever else tube screamer. Maybe.
I'd put money on that's what it is.
But they are taking the time to put proper knobs on these pedals, which somehow makes them better. And yeah, they invest in graphic design. Um, and I don't know what the answer to that is. I think it really just comes down to something where I feel like a lot of these brands, like your Moskys, your Movals, your Donners, your even Donner's starting to slow down a little bit
Yep.
with this kind of stuff, and Moore, and they're starting. I say slow down. It's like they're actually making like better stuff now. Joyo's a company that started out as just like assaulting the market, for lack of a better word, and now they're focusing more on like a mid-tier for Chinese product, right? Like Joyo selling a $65 King of Tone, like that's a mid-tier experience versus like the $30 K-Line King of Tone.
Right.
um and I think it comes down to a mentality of assaulting, of brute forcing. It's thinking about it historically, it's the whether it's how much of it's apocryphal versus real. I and I say that because I just haven't looked at it in a long time, and seeing if how much has changed. But I know at least apocryphally the story was that, like, battle of Stalingrad, the Russian generals and stuff would just be like, here's a pitchfork, when you kill a German you take his gun and now you have a gun. And sometimes that's what it feels like the Chinese market is doing, where they are basically, if we and so the whole Russian strategy was, there's 10,000 of them, but there's 100,000 of us. They can't kill us all. And sometimes that feels like that's what the strategy is. And I don't mean that as a judgment statement. I just mean that as like that there's an approach that's like, it doesn't, like, how many of these brands are all using the exact same PCB, but some of them are Horse or Mosky or iSet or, oh, I took all the pedals to the garage earlier because I didn't want them on the floor anymore.
Yeah.
So there's just all of these brands that it's just rebadging the thing and selling it in a different place. And oh, I really didn't like the new X one, but I really like this other one from this brand that I've never heard of, and it's the
And
exact same thing.
and the real folks making a killing are whoever's making the PCBs or the
Right.
enclosures for them. There's
Eh,
who's really profiting.
yeah, and so Claire B, this is exactly what I'm getting at. Marketing and graphic design costs money, and when you're putting out the cheapest stuff possible, if that's somewhere where you can cut out, that's where they're cutting out.
That's
This
it.
is a thing I've said before. I got into it with, I don't remember where it was. I didn't really get into it because it was such a stupid opinion. I just moved on with my life. Where people were talking about how Chibson, like
Mm,
the price of counterfeits on the used market in the United States are increasing.
which is
Where
freaking insane.
where 10 years ago, if you saw a Chibson, a lot of times it was obvious,
Uh
like
huh.
very obvious. And one of the things that made it very obvious was that it would be like $200. Well, now you're seeing this more. And yeah, Michael Krause says there's other American companies like Ion that do that. Yeah, there's some American
Hmm.
companies that are doing their manufacturing overseas, and they're just blitzing like Walmart and shit. Um, but yeah, so these chipsins, going back to this, marketing and graphic design costs money, and I get that. Um, Someone was talking about how the price of chipsins, if you see one, is like $700 now for a Les Paul, say a Les Paul standard copy. That's actually miles and miles closer than what they looked like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, they're definitely getting harder to discern.
Hmm.
Um, and my argument has always been that, and I put that out there. I was like, well, if these guitars are so good, because people are even saying like, yeah, you can get a $700 chipsin that plays fantastic, and that's just the cost that you have to pay to get better QC on a chipsin. And
Hmm.
while I kind of hear that, like, it still does not explain to me how, as much as like I have very, um, I don't have mixed feelings. I kind of think it sucks that, Firefly has a John 5 Telecaster now.
Yeah.
They have a Buckethead Les Paul, and they're kind of just starting to hit this like signature market run with their stuff. But to their credit, are they getting those designs from counterfeiters and making their own stuff? I don't know. Um, but Fireflies are still selling for like under $300. They've improved their quality. They've maintained their brand,
Hmm.
uh, and they're still relatively cheap. Now, will the price go up over time eventually? Maybe. I think the way that from what I understand about their business practices, like, it doesn't necessarily make sense for them to increase their prices right now.
Yeah,
Um,
not if they don't have
but
to. I mean,
but
inflation's a thing though. So,
exactly. But that's always been my thing with like people talk about like, oh, these chips and oh, also they've said like chips and counterfeits are getting more expensive in the United States because customs is onto them and they're throwing like dumping more of them into the river, kind of more of them are being destroyed. Which is like still goes back to like my original thing is these things have a market because people want them, they want to buy them, and while again I think Firefly making John 5, Firefly making, Buckethead stuff, these obvious knockoffs, they're at least putting their own name on it. I don't
yeah.
have to like Firefly, but I will say that, you know, Firefly is a million times more ethical than these brands that are selling chipsins. And I will say that with the caveat that Firefly might be the same brand that's selling chipsins at, tr- more expensive. Also, I did look this up when it came up. If you go on AliExpress or any of these sites that do sell like the Gibson badged counterfeits,
Right.
they're still under like $350 if you want to buy it yourself. So when
Yeah.
you find it on Facebook Marketplace for $700, those people are trying to take advantage of you.
Yep. 100%.
Uh,
Because you can still get
bottom
them.
line, bottom line. Now, I guess maybe you could make the argument that now you can play it in person, but the idea that you're going to pay a $300 uh, tax on a product to go through some random schmo's QC in his garage, like,
Nah, bro.
give me a break.
Nah.
Nabra? Oh,
Nah, bro.
yeah, yeah.
Nah, bro. Not gonna
So,
happen.
that's kind of, I know that's a long way around it. I would have a lot more respect for those companies who say that they have good stuff and they make good stuff to spend. Honestly, it's too late now.
Hmm.
But I will say, like, probably as recently as like 6 or 7 years ago, a savvy brand probably could have gotten Ryan and I to do marketing, not graphic design, but at least some basic marketing, or at least had conversations about marketing
Some feedback.
for cheap, if not free.
Yeah.
Now things are different.
Yeah. Now you charge
Uh,
for that shit.
I can, but but certainly, and I say that like, well, for us now, but there's certainly like, I guarantee you that there are people in the influencer space who are relatively knowledgeable about the market and what people want to buy and what people want to see, who would be willing to say like, hey, uh you know, whatever company that's making knockoffs, like if they reach out and they say like, hey, we build really good guitars, but we don't know how to build a brand and we want to get out of the counterfeiting business, which is like, okay, maybe you don't maybe you don't want to work with a
Right.
brand who's openly telling you that they want to get out of the counterfeit. Oh, here's a perfect example,
Okay.
actually. Bad Cat Instruments.
Oh yeah.
Uh, we had the guitar from them, the James Hetfield knockoff. And the fact that they made a James Hetfield knockoff is like already kind of a dicey territory. Again, it's kind of like Firefly with the Buckethead and whatever. Where that part aside, what we actually ended up calling them out for is, why are you selling guitars with with fake EMGs in it? Because that's just straight up, you're putting counterfeit pickups in these.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and and I don't they kind of like made it seem, their response kind of made it seem like they didn't know that that was bad. And
Really? That,
it
like they had no
felt,
idea that this was a problem.
it felt, I don't remember the exact response. I just remember it felt really weird. Um, but that was also a company that like was trying to get Ryan to do like a, you know, hey, let's do a big thing and you give us feedback and we'll find ways to like do it better. And you got to find the right people for that. You kind of, there is a pay scale for that. It's something honestly that like I'm probably more open to as a human being than Ryan is, just because of where our time, like he wants to spend time making videos. I don't
Right.
mind having those kinds of conversations, but that's because I'm not trying to make videos.
Yeah.
So we're in very different places, and neither of those is like really right or wrong. The Bad Cat, that whole Bad Cat situation kind of was just weird, but that kind of stuff has come up, and again, brands will ask for that. And I think the marketing part, the graphic design part, like, yeah, you pay someone, but you could probably, you know, find some people on Fiverr,
Oh yeah.
kind of thing. um
No, no, Michael. Both are wrong.
yeah,
Fake guitar
Michael,
and fake
to be
pickups.
clear, faking all of it. I'm saying like, what my point is, like when Firefly makes a Buckethead fake, it still says Firefly on the headstock.
Exactly. That
uh
there's a difference in making like a copy of something but not putting the name on it. That's the over the line to me. The other is still shady. It's shady as shit. But the real problem is when you make a copy of a DG 335 and you put Gibson on the headstock,
exactly.
which I have
um
seen. I have played one and actually played really well. I'm really depressed by how good
oh,
it played.
really?
Yeah. Someone we both know has one, and I'll tell
Oh,
you off. I'm not gonna say it to the whole internet. But yeah. So having said all that, Steve, I think we're wrapping up. We've been
I
on
think we
here
are.
almost 3 hours.
I got distracted because I popped the bottom off of the business boost.
So we will be back again in May with another live stream at some point. We don't know exactly when, but
May's
otherwise,
right around the corner, man.
I know, dude. Well, we were real late with our April live
Yeah,
stream.
yeah.
That it happens. Uh, so once
I
again,
had
we
a
do this
thing,
about
and then
once a
you had a
month.
thing.
Yeah, we all had things, and you know, Easter was the last weekend in March, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's just stuff. Well,
Yep.
awesome. Any parting thoughts, Steve?
No, just thanks everyone who made it this this far.
Right.
um, Smaller crowd today, but you
That's
know, I
okay.
think everyone but active, very active. So thanks everyone for being active in the chat. And oh, I keep seeing motion outside. There's a big old box on my patio and I don't know what it is.
Oh well
Um,
then.
but yeah, thanks to everyone for coming in and hanging out. Uh, if you are interested in trying to win some free pedals, jump on the giveaway. We did tomorrow's podcast topic, just as a preview for folks. I don't remember what it is.
Well, all right.
Sorry.
Well then, in that case, Steve, say the tagline.
Stay grounded.
Yeah, be good to yourselves, be kind to each other, and make some noise. Bye, y'all.
See ya.
Now I have to remember how to stop it. That's the real problem. I found it.